Welcome to the London Aquatics Centre here in Stratford, East London, for the 2025 Aquatics GB Swimming Championships Morning 4. It's a 6-day meet. It's been going fantastically well so far. It really has. We've had 20 swimmers qualify for the World Championship team. 23 from the European junior team going to Slovakia later this summer. And then from the Paralympic side, well, we'll have Paul Noble give you an update in a second. I think 7, maybe 8 of those. More, it's higher. He's going higher.
Higher. 9. We're at 9 now. We had a couple more last night, Andy.
Yeah, Paul, the qualifying times for those powers, I mean, whoever did that, goodness me, it's really tough. Very, very tough indeed. It's going to be a fun morning this morning, though. We've got some cracking races for you. Women's 100 metres butterfly, 10 heats of that, and then there's the men's 200 metres breaststroke. And those big boys in the centre. Max Morgan back again. Men's 50 metres freestyle. Can't wait for that one. Pre-selected swimmer already. Ben Proud on that. What a superstar. Olympic silver medal on that 53. Women's 2IM as well. And then the men's 800 metres freestyle. And we've got something special for you on that 800 free. Just 4 heats this morning and then the final heat this evening. But got a little interview, a little chat with somebody from Aquatics GB, and I think that'd be really interesting, not least of which because sitting next to me again is Dan Jervis for the 4th morning in a row. Well, he must be doing something right, 5th morning in a row. Yeah, because, well, he's come back, and he's come back for more punishment, a glutton for punishment. It's day 5, apparently. Is it day 5?
Yeah, they're all blended into one now, aren't they?
Welcome to day 5 of the Aquatics GB Championships. Gracious heavens. Dan Jervis sitting next to me. Dan, really looking forward to the 800 metres freestyle, but how's it going so far? You've had a proper introduction to the commentary box. How's it going?
Well, Bore da, Andy. Hello, everyone.
Bore da.
I'm having a great time. I feel like I've been thrown in at the deep end because this is a major competition to start off by my debut on commentating, but I'm loving it. I'm loving every minute. I'm loving not being in the pool, but being in the environment. I'm learning so much that I didn't know, and it's just great to see my old friends. I feel as if I was going to say my old school friends then. I was not in school with these people, but I'm loving it.
Super. Well, also in the commentary box and leading these para races is Paul Noble, 15 times Paralympic medalist, 5 times Paralympian. And over to you for this first race.
Thanks, guys. Well, this is the first of the 10 heats on the 100 butterfly for women. 2 para swimmers in this one. We're due to have 3 in this first heat, but we're down to 2 now. Para swimmers, more para swimmers to come in heat number 2, and also a couple of para swimmers in heat 5 and in heat 6. So watch out for the times here. Of course, it's multi-classification all the way. It's a good example of the classification system in this very first heat. We have Sienna Oxby in lane number 3, the top of those 2 yellow marked lanes. She swims in the S14 class, swimmer with an intellectual impairment. And a swimmer with a physical impairment in the S8 class is Brock Whiston from London Disability. And you see Brock, she has her impairment down one side. She swims in the S8 class, S1 to 10 for those with physical impairments, S11 to 12 those with the visual impairments, and S14 with those with an intellectual impairment. So the times, each of the classifications has got a standard time for this event, the 100 fly, and the closest the swimmer gets to the world record for their time, the higher the number of points, and the high number of points will qualify for the final tonight. Brock Whiston, I expect a big points total from Brock. 4th place in the Paralympic Games in Paris, 1:15.07. I can tell you that's 801 points for Brock Whiston. A tough qualification standard at 1:11.80. So she's got a little bit of work to do to achieve that one, but good swim from Brock first thing this morning. Sienna Oxby in 1:16.62. And she's round about a second or so shy of her entry time of 1:14.55. So expect to see Brock Whiston back again. She was very close to the 400 qualifying standard last night, just missing out by a couple of seconds. But it's a big day for Brock. She'll have the 200 IM a little bit later on.
And there's heat 2 with the women's 100 metres butterfly. A couple of para athletes here again. They're in lane 0 is Georgia Sheffield of Bolton. Faye Rogers in 1. And in 8, Kellyanne Warrington of Royal Tunbridge Wells. A bit of quiet for the start. Orla McInnes of Heart of Midlothian, the second fastest seed, with Olivia Greenall of Norwich the fastest. Paralympic champion in the S10s in lane 1.
Yeah, Paralympic silver medalist as well in the S10 class in lane number 8. So 1 and 8. Faye Rogers and Kellyanne Warrington should be looking for that qualification standard of 107.08. Be good to see them both tip under that. Faye Rogers, record-breaking form. She is the British European record holder. 105.36 is the time that Faye is looking for. So watch out for them in 1 and 8.
Well, in lane number 4, fastest to the 50, just under 30 seconds. The first 2 lanes, 29.89 and 29.94. So just 5/100 splitting the first 2 at the 50. In 4 and 5 is Olivia Greenall and Orla McInnes. And going well in the centre there in 4 is Greenall of City of Norwich. Keeping it nice and flat, breathing every 2 strokes. That will keep her body nice and flat. Try and keep that chin on the water. Now, discipline inside, really good. 4 strokes, no breather into the end. That's very good indeed for Olivia Greenall. 103.28. She wins it, and a new lifetime best by almost a second. Super from her. Second was Kate Baxter. Third was Halloran Hutchinson. And what about those para-athletes, Paul?
Yeah, they've come into the wall, Andy. Faye Rogers has stopped the clock at 104.51, and that is inside her own European record time. So another record-breaking performance by Faye Rogers. There she is. She has absolutely smashed that. 104.51, and the record previously stood at 105.36. Unbelievable. She has been just slightly faster prior to acquiring her disability, because she was swimming in the Olympic trials before, in 2021, before her accident. And there we go. The result is confirmed. 104.51, European record for Faye Rogers. Kellyanne Warrington slightly outside the entry time, the qualification time for Singapore, as was Georgia Sheffield. But they'll be back again for the para final later tonight. A couple of more para swimmers to come, but they are in a few heats time.
And here we have the heat 3 of the women's 100 metre butterfly. Going in first in lane 4, Anna Stanfield from University of Nottingham.
Heat 3 of the women's 100 metres butterfly. Anna Stansfield right in the centre, the fastest seed from University of Nottingham. Lacey Roberts from Plymouth in lane 6 was 4th in the junior final. In fact, I think lane 4 was scratched. Yes, she has. So no Anna Stansfield. So it's Moskva of Stockport is the fastest seed in lane number 5. But first to turn, I think it is right at the top there, is Millie Harris of West Norfolk.
Yeah, that was a great turn there for Millie. You know, she really went into that wall quickly. Now, if you have to touch 2 hands at the same time with butterfly and the same with breaststroke, if you don't, that is automatic disqualification.
So right at the top, still going well, is Millie Harris of West Norfolk. Also going well is Ciara Morris of City of Glasgow in 2. And these 2 leading, I think it's going to be Morris of Glasgow. It is. Very good swim from her again. Gracious me. Well, 102.10. It's a season's best for her by 1.5 seconds. Well done. Yes, well done. God, give us a smile. Excellent swim. Millie Harris second, 62.98. A full second inside her lifetime best to come second. And third is Lacey Roberts of Plymouth College Aquatics. Already on heat 4 on this, the 5th morning of swimming. It's a 6-day meet, this Aquatics GB Championships for 2025. There's a lot of events being selected for here. World Championships for both the able-bodied and the para-athletes. European Juniors, World Juniors. Kira Morris wins it from City of Glasgow, 62.1. Millie Harris also lifetime best for her in second.
This is heat 4.
Heat 4 of the women's 100 metres butterfly right at the top there. Amelia Fenner of Basildon. Fastest seed is Holgate of City of Cambridge, with Lowe of City of Leicester in lane 5. So this is heat 4 of 10 heats of women's 100 flying. Dan, I do love, in this particular event, in this particular heat, there's quite a lot of 200 swimmers coming down to the 100 and 50 swimmers going up to the 100. I do love it when they clash in the middle. It's wonderful to see the tactics and how it all unfolds.
Yeah, I feel the same, Andy. You know, coming up from a 50, you have the speed, definitely, but also you have to double the distance. Now, in a 200 fly coming down to the 100, you have the endurance, but do you have the speed? So it's quite equal going into the 100, I think.
Well, it's a lot of fun, certainly, different ways people try and accommodate those specialist skills as well. And going very well right in the centre now is Georgia Holgate. Well, she's more of a 50 specialist going up to this 100 rather than someone like in lane number 5. The swimmer from Leicester, Alicia Lowe, who was 4th on the 200 metres at the Summer Championships last year. So it is in the centre. Georgia Holgate of Cambridge. I think she's going to get the touch. She does. 62.50. Well, her best was 63.46. So that's a great swim from her. Second was Ellie Kennington of Plymouth College Aquatics. And third, Faith Yuda of Edinburgh University. Nose clipper on as well. You see a few swimmers here with nose clips, particularly the backstrokers, where they've got to control the underwaters and make sure that they can really control that exhalation of breath and keep it really nice and long and slow rather than getting water up your nose.
Yeah, what you don't want is water going up your nose, because you don't want to be sneezing halfway through the race. That's not ideal.
It's one of the worst feelings. It really is. Also choked pretty quickly. It's not a nice feeling, that at all. But a lot of swimmers, particularly Johnny Marshall, I think on that 100, 200 backstroke, the 50 backstroke, he's a great proponent of the nose clip. To say, I find it quite uncomfortable. I do like breathing out through my nose and swimming. I've got used to it over so many years to suddenly not be able to do it. It's a weird feeling. So here's the results. Unfortunately, Lily Stansfield getting disqualified there from Harrogate. So the full results there on your screen. Georgia Holgate winning from City of Cambridge, 62.5, with Kennington just half a second back and Yuda third. And Olivia Newman-Baronius in lane 7, the S14. And Paul joins us again for this heat 5. The fastest seed in lane number 4 is Lucy Grant of City of Newport, with Kate Oliver of Aaron Tridents in lane 5. What a superstar Olivia Newman-Baronius is in 7.
Yeah, Olivia actually set the world record for this event in the 100 butterfly last year at the trials, 103.33. She's going to have to go somewhere close to that if she is to achieve the qualification standard. 104.02 is the qualification standard she's looking for. She's not the world record holder anymore. That's held by her teammate Poppy Maskell, who is going in the next heat. But Olivia in lane number 7, just on the top of that empty lane at the bottom.
Well, really close at the front of that 50. Look at that, 28.94, 28.98, 4 100s splitting those first two swimmers. And Lucy Grant was first to touch. Grant in lane number 4, but going really well now up in lane 2 with 0 at the top, then 1, of course, and then 2, Poppy Babbitt of University of Birmingham.
Yeah, it's a close finish here. Good stuff from the red cap. Oh, Poppy Babbitt getting in here. Olivia Newman-Baronius, 103.94. And I can tell you, Andy, she has just dipped under that standard of 104.02. She will be absolutely delighted with that one. The swimmer from Maxwell, the S14 swimmer, Big points total as well, 956. That is excellent, and that's number 10, Andy.
I was just going to say, the qualification standard, I think I said it a couple of times, the qualification standards for these para-athletes for the World Championships in Singapore later on this summer, they're brutal. So the winner of Heat 5 of the women's 100 metres butterfly, Babbitt wins it, Ashcroft second, Grant third, but down in sixth, look at that, Olivia Newman-Baronius, the S14, qualified for Singapore for the World Para Championships. And that's a cracking swim.
I should say, Andy, the para swimmers are slightly different from the other swimmers because they can achieve the qualifying standards in the heats this morning. So heats or finals for the para swimmers to achieve those times.
Indeed, and for the able-bodied, it's only in the finals. I think the difference really is the severity of the qualifying standards. I mean, they're not easy for the able-bodied, but my word, they're tough for the paras. It's Heat 6 of the women's 100 fly, and Becky Watson, the fastest seed of Northumberland and Durham in lane 4, with Sharrett in 5, and Poppy Maskell is in lane 6. You were talking about her earlier. What a star she is.
Yeah, she won 3 gold medals in the Paralympic Games in Paris, including one in this one, the 100 metres butterfly. She also won the backstroke, and she was joined by Olivia Newman-Baronius in the gold medal winning relay team. So watch out for Poppy. She's already achieved qualification standards this week already. She'll be looking to add another one to that.
Yeah, winning that first 50 was Charlotte Smith in lane 7. She's really looking strong on this second length here. She had a really good turn there. You need to treat the turn as if it's something boiling. You don't want to be on it for very long.
So just coming into the finish now. It's very close at the front of the field. Poppy Maskell a little bit off the pace here, just at the back of the field. She will qualify for the para final, but she's going to be behind Charlotte Smith, who gets to the ball first in 102.56. So excellent time there from Charlotte Smith. Isla Jones follows her home, and Helen Sharrett. Poppy Maskell is in 10th place in that one. 837 points for the para swimmer, but 106.83, some way off her best for Poppy Maskell. But we've been seeing this all week, that Poppy has not been swimming well in the heats, but come the finals, she really picks up the pace.
And here's the result of Heat 6. Charlotte Smith winning 102, Isla Jones second, and Helen Sharrett in third. Poppy Maskell, S14, in 106.83.
Heat 7, women's 100 fly. It's getting spicy. Last of the uncycle seeded heats. Lowest child of Harrogate District in lane 4. 15 years of age. She's only just turned 15. Last year at the Summer Championships, she was in the 13, 14-year-old age groups. Won a silver on this 100 fly in that. And 1 year on, she's in Heat 7 of the 2025 Aquatics GB Championships. Fastest seed in the heat. Fantastic experience for someone like that, the young 15-year-old in 4. This is going to be an interesting heat. Very good underwater from lane 6. That was Gracie Owen of Torvine, and she's got the best start down this first 30.
Yeah, she's looking great here, and her underwater kick, you know, in this event you are able to spend 30% of this race under the surface of the water. It means you're more efficient and you're faster. Coming into the first turn, the only turn in this event, is Harris in second. She's looking great. Her underwater work was great. She really took it as far as she could under the water in the first 15.
Well, it's the red hat up there in lane number 3 that is going well. And the red hat is Catherine Renfrew of City of Perth. And she's just bringing back this second 50 nicely. She set it up well down that first 50, but she's bringing it home, and this is good. Breathing twos is good discipline if she can keep her head down. Oh, get your head down and save that last 5. There we go, 62.04 from Renfrew. Well, another half-second lifetime best from her. That's very good. 0.4, in fact. 0.40. Catherine Renfrew wins Heat 7 of the women's 100 fly. Second was Sophie King of Woking. Third, Poppy Lawrence of Leatherhead. And it was pretty close after the winner there. The winner was Renfrew in 62.0, but then very close after that indeed it was.
And the result of Heat 7 women's 100-metre fly. Catherine Renfrew taking the win, Sophie King second, and Poppy Lawrence coming third.
Look at the hundreds, second, third and fourth, 0.42, 0.54, 0.57. Wow. Very tight. So the first of the cycle seeded heats in this women's 100 fly, the fastest 30 women in Great Britain on the 100 fly will be going equally spread around these last 3 heats. And look at this in lane 4. The world champion women's 200 fly, Laura Stevens, there she is. Wow, she means business as well. Look at that. Next to her in 3, Theodora Taylor. Eva Akaro had a fantastic meet in 5. Akaro in 5, won gold on the 50 freestyle and qualified for the World Championships in Singapore later this year. She also won gold on the 50 fly, a fun event for her. So if she can win gold on the 50 fly, what can she do here? Stevens and Akaro, as expected, going well down this first 30.
Yeah, we've seen all week how on fire Eva Akaro is, but we've only seen her do 50s. I am looking forward to seeing how she's going to deal with this second 50. Laura Stevens obviously winning that first length in 27.43, but followed quite closely by Taylor, 28.03.
Theodora Taylor has got the white hat just above Laura Stevens here, but they're having a go at Stevens now. Akaro coming back 1 lane closer to us from Stevens, the leader, with 20 metres to go now in this Heat 8 of the women's 100 metres butterfly. It's just Laura Stevens from Eva Akaro and Theodora Taylor, and these 3 comfortably ahead of the rest of the field. Head down, great discipline from Stevens, who gets the touch. It is Akaro, 59.51. 55, excuse me, 59.55. 6 100s back was Laura Stevens, and she almost looks embarrassed, doesn't she? That's hilarious. Oops, I beat the world champion 200 fly. Job done. There's Laura Stevens. Job done from her, though. I'm sure she'll be in the final this evening of this women's 100 fly. Just needs to get through it. Theodora Taylor in 3rd.
Yeah, that was a great finish from Eva. I think Laura was actually ahead with about a metre to go, but Eva's finish, she finished with her arms straight. She was fully extended into that wall, which made she took the win. Winning that, Eva Akaro, 2nd Laura Stevens, just a little bit slower than Eva, and 3rd was Theodora Taylor.
No.
And moving on to Heat 9 now. Betsy Wizard in 3 and Lucy Grieve in lane 4. Heat 9 of 10. And we are seeing Holly Widows is not in this race, so there's an empty lane in the middle, but we are seeing Betsy Wizard go out really strong here in the first 25. Also Holly Widows in lane number 5, sorry, Sky Carter in lane number 6 going out strong. We'll see how she goes into this first turn now, but she's looking great.
Well, this is very good indeed, right in the centre from Lucy Grieve. She's come into this championship ranked 2nd on the 100 fly. She was 5th on the 2 fly, but this is a really good first, what is that, 65, 70 metres or so.
Yeah, she had the best underwater in the field there, Lucy Grieve. So she really locked in her arms tight out front. She locked her arms close to her head and used that underwater kick.
So it looks like lane 4, it's going to be Lucy Grieve winning it. Let's see how close she goes to the sub-60, 58.3. Well, that's the fastest time we've seen so far by quite a long way. Very good swim from Lucy. Excellent stuff. She's delighted. Well, 58.3 is her lifetime best, and she's just done right on that. 58.31's her best, and she's gone 58.34 in a heat. So that's very, very good indeed, and sets herself up beautifully. She'll get a centre lane for that final this evening. Grieve wins it from Wizard 2nd, Carter 3rd, Price 4th, and Robinson 5th. Just one swimmer sub-60. Wizard, well, she's got a cracking chance of making the final, 60.03, I think.
Yeah, she looked great in that heat.
Didn't she? Swam
Yeah.
it really well. Liked her reaction as well. Showed some emotion.
And going in highest seed in this heat, number 10 of 10, Kiana McGuinness. We saw her sister swim a few heats ago, Ola McGuinness. I wonder if Ola asks Kiana for advice.
There's a question I have no idea the answer to. That'd be fascinating, wouldn't it? Kiana McInnes, she's on the team for the 200. 1 gold in that. 2:07.1 she did, the fastest seed in 4. Brilliant swim. Emily Richards is also in this event in lane number 3, just moved up to Manchester Performance and is training up there and seems to be in really good shape, but a really fabulous start from McInnes in 4 and making that Singapore team. The monkey's off her back. She's got the pressure off now. She's going to the World Championships in Singapore in this summer, and that's fantastic in lane 4. And Richards trying to go with her up there in 3, Schlossen in 5.
Yeah, we can't underestimate how it would feel to already know that you're on that plane to Singapore. It does make a huge difference. It kind of makes you feel like you can enjoy the rest of the week. Have a bit of fun with your other events, if you can, in the 100 fly.
Well, it's one of those events that you really can enjoy it, and the speed and the flow, and if you get the pacing right, the tempo right, the technique right, it just feels wonderful. And she looks great right now. The turnover's really quick, a little bit short maybe at the front of the stroke, but this is really impressive from the 200 specialist Kiana McInnes, and that's a good swim. 58.1. She's going to go in the final fastest on this women's 100 fly. 3 women sub 60. Yeah, well done, Kiana. That's excellent. Her lifetime best is 57.9. She's just gone 58.1 in the heats. Wow, that's impressive. Looked like she was trying to maybe lay a marker down there, Dan.
Yeah, I think she was, actually. You know, we know she can go a lot faster tonight. I'd probably say she looked as if she was easing up a bit, especially on that last 5 meters. But I've been on a few teams with Kiana, and she's a lovely person, but she's a very hard trainer. She turns into a bit of a different person when she gets in that water. She goes from a lovely person into a very headstrong swimmer, and that is what you want in an athlete.
Well, she's qualified for the World Championships in the 200, and she's had a cracking heat in the 100. 58.1 wins it. Kira Schlossen second, 59.1. And Emily Richards, that's good from her as well. So let's see who's made the final. Certainly all 3 of those women will be in decent lanes. Richards looked 4th fastest, 3rd in that heat, but 4th fastest. So McInnes goes in quickest, then Lucy Grieve, and then Schlossen and Richards. Acaro, Stevens, Wizard and Stott. That's a super final. Can't wait for that one. Well, the qualification standard on the individual 100s, 57.2, so they've got some work to do that. But who's to say that we can't have a qualifier there? And I think it's pretty important to have somebody go quick on this 100 fly, not least of which to get somebody in the event, but also for that medley relay. Yeah,
I think the medley relay is looking very strong this year. Obviously, we have Angharad Evans in the breaststroke. We're going to find out who's going to be the freestyle leg. It's going to be great. I think it is one to watch. Definitely this 4x1 relay medley for the women's it's going to be up there. Could be close to the medals.
Well, certainly we're starting to get some pretty good individual 100-metre swimmers now, aren't we? The backstroke, well, the backstroke still needs to be worked on, I guess. If we can get Kathleen back to that 58 flat, or maybe get somebody, Katie Shanahan, maybe down into the 58. That great. The breaststroke with Angharad. Goodness me, she's quick. Get a decent flyer in there. Freestyle. Who knows what Eva Akara can do. Lucy Hope. We've got some crackers. And there's the qualifiers for the para final as well. Faye Rogers, Olivia Newman-Baronius, Poppy Maskell. My goodness me, that's a who's who of para swimming, isn't it? I wonder how many Olympic gold medals and medals there are in there. We'll have to make sure we do that totting up for you for the final. So men's 200 metres breaststroke next up, and Ross Murdoch's got the British record from that wonderful 2014 Commonwealth Games. What a swim that was. Will Irvin of Mount Kelly, he's in, where is he, in heat 4. So the first heat of 9 of the men's 200 metres breaststroke. And, well, with that British record held by Ross Murdoch from that Commonwealth Games, it was quite extraordinary, wasn't it? 2:07:30. It's very quick indeed, and it's lasted a good long time. What was it, 2014, 11 years. I saw him at the Commonwealth Games, I think it was, and he was fantastic, because the difference between shaved and unshaved for some swimmers is not really very much. You know, some people aren't particularly hairy. He looked like a Yeti before he shaved down. He was like Mr. Mountain Man, and then he shaved down, and my goodness, man, lovely chap, absolutely lovely. If you're watching, Ross, just a super guy. Really enjoyed commentating on you. You must have swum with them a few times.
Yeah, I swum with Ross many times. I've room shared with Ross. He's a great guy. I shared a room with him in the World Championships in Budapest in 2021. Great guy. I have a lot of respect for him, and he's a great athlete for athletes to look up to, Ross is.
He's also a fabulous head-to-head racer as well. I remember that Commonwealth Games, my word. Absolutely took it by the scruff of the neck and shook it till it was dead. He won the gold and won it brilliantly well. So here we go. This is the second 100, just coming up for 25 to go on this third 50. And the leader, and he looks very good indeed, isn't he, in lane 5? Donatas Dragasius of City of Manchester. And the rest of the field just starting to have a go at him. Maybe up there in lane 1 is Jasper Hall of City of Newcastle. And he really has started to make some ground here up there in lane 1. 0 and 1 also going well.
Yeah, and lane 5, Dragasius took that 150-metre turn, then 146.66. He's looking really good, but coming back really good is Jasper Hall in lane 1. He's putting up a bit of a fight. They can't see each other. They are looking forwards. They don't know where each other are, but they are having a bit of a good race here.
Well, it looks like he is taking over the lead up there, Jasper Hall in lane number 1. And this is a really good 200 metres breaststroke. He's a junior. He can qualify for the European Junior Championships. Also qualify for the junior final this evening. That's a very good swim. Just gets touched out by 4 100ths. William Irvin. What a great second 100 the Mount Kelly athlete had. And I was talking to Emma Collins-Barnes this morning, the coach, and Greg King-Lim. And they were very happy with how their team is doing here at this championships. It's gone well for them. Just quietly keep on pumping in those juniors. So Irvin wins it from Jasper Hall of Newcastle second. Here we go, 2:24.97 for the winner. That's Irvin. Well, that's a massive lifetime best. It really is. 3-second lifetime best for the winner. Well done. If you know William, send him a message of congratulations. That's brilliant.
It would be good to talk about how good it is to do a PB in the morning in the next heat, Andy, because it is quite hard to do a PB in the morning because you just woke up.
Well, you know, it's one of those subjects that I get a little bit exercised about, I've got to tell you, because it's one of those things where if you don't swim well because you've just woken up, wake up earlier. Set your alarm. You've got one chance to have a fast swim in the morning. I definitely don't want to sound like a grumpy old man about it, Dan, but I definitely want to say some of these swimmers, this is it. You're going to be in the heats and that's it. So give yourself the best chance of swimming your lifetime best, the best that you can possibly do. And if that means wake up at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock because you're swimming, you know, right now at whatever time it is here in Stratford, 10 o'clock in the morning, and you need 4 or 5 hours to wake up, that's what you have to do. You can go to bed in the afternoon. Dan, do I sound grumpy?
No, not at all, honestly. Andy, no, you don't at all, and I absolutely understand that, and I would have agreed with you up until 2021, but in the 2021 Olympics in Tokyo, the finals were in the morning. So what we had to do, we had to adapt our training to get ready for that, because you wanted to have your fastest swim in the morning in that Olympics.
Okay, so you do agree with me, is that right?
Did I just say I didn't agree with you?
Yeah,
oh, no,
I would have agreed with you up until 21.
Sorry, I wouldn't have agreed with you.
There you go.
And now I do.
There you go. I was going to say, so what's your point, caller? Lane 2, Daniel Hollis from University of Birmingham, who's first to turn. Well, he's not actually first to turn because they're in lane 8, I think it is it? Yes, it is. It's the... what is it? I think it is. It's Lucas Lovell from Portsmouth. Lucas Lovell going very well indeed. So here we go. Lucas is swimming away from the field here, and this is a very good third 50.
Going into this third turn now. Lovell takes it. 50 to go, 1:45.35. It's looking really strong. Also up in lane 2, Freddie Carter's going along strong as well. As we said in the last heat, you're looking forward. You can't see the other swimmers, so you don't know where you are. So they kind of have to use themselves to get through this.
Well, I do apologise to Freddie Carter, who's swimming brilliantly up there in lane 2. I think I just call him Dan Hollis, but it is Freddie Carter. He is from Swindon, and he is swimming very well. That blue hat at the top there he is. This is excellent. It's quite a battle between him and Lucas Lovell in 8. Who's going to get the touch? I think it's just Lovell. Lovell does just get it with a really good swim, but the faster finisher was Freddie Carter up there in 2. So it's Lucas Lovell in 8, Freddie Carter in 2, Andrew Clavis second. And look at that. Well, there you go. That's how to respond to a fantastic swim. Well done. It is Freddie Carter of Swindon. And he's just done a lifetime best on his 200 metres breaststroke. Well done, sir.
A 3.5-second lifetime best.
Not just any old lifetime best.
No, I know. It's so good. And yeah, he took that to that 3.5-second PB to win the heat. Lucas Lovell wins it. Freddie Carter second, and Andrew Clavis third.
Well, it's been one of those mornings this morning. It's not morning 4, it's morning 5. And it is Freddie Carter in lane 2, and that last one, he's not in this one though. Lane 2 in this one is Fraser Tetlow of Aberdeen Performance. In 3 it's Jacob Barnett of Northumberland and Durham. Jeremiah Carnegie of Whitgift Swimming Club in 4. Kenji McDade of Maxwell in 5. This is heat 3 of 9 heats in this men's 200 metres breaststroke, and we've got some cracking history in the breaststroke events. Going all the way back to people like David Wilkie and Duncan Goodhue, Adrian Morehouse and Nick Gillingham, and then it's been wonderful, hasn't it? And Mr. Petey's taken it on with James Wilby, and there just seems to be this fantastic history in Britain of success in the breaststroke events.
Success in the breaststroke events, and success in the breaststroke events in this pool, in this event. We think back to London 2012 Olympic final. Michael Jameson was the only silver medalist in Team GB, and he'd done it in this exact pool.
How could I leave out Michael Jameson? Fantastic name. Fantastic chap as well, actually. What a great swimmer he was. He had some proper battles with Ross Murdoch as well, didn't he? He really did, particularly at that Commonwealth Games in Glasgow. God, that was one of the races of my life to commentate on that. Really fun. So here we go. Up there in lane 0 is Caden Hutchins of City of Birmingham. And I think he was, he was third to turn, but it was mighty close. First to turn was Jacob Barnett of Northumberland and Durham in lane 3. Second was William Miles of Loughborough in 1. But a really good third 50, the start of it certainly for Jacob Barnett, and he's starting to swim away here.
Yeah, the rest of the field are in a line. We are seeing a bit of a race as well for second from William Miles and Caden Hutchinson in the top 2 lanes, but no doubt about it, Jacob Barnett has taken this race out like a storm.
Well, he's opened up quite a lead, 0.74 of a second. Jacob Barnett leads with 50 metres to go from Caden Hutchins right at the top there in 0, and William Miles also going very well in 1. So look at these two, 0, 1 and 3, having a cracking race here, and still going well, Jacob Barnett. Well, he's going to do a lifetime best if he can bring this home. Very high in that recovery position. I'd love to see him just stretch it out a little bit more if he can. Just try and get a little bit more distance per stroke, but it's very effective. And his time, 2:23.24, a 2 1/4 second lifetime best for Ben Barnett of Northumberland and Durham. That's a great swim from him. Second was William Miles of Loughborough University, and Caden Hutchins in third.
All three of these heats, Andy, have been won by PBs, and they're not small PBs. Jacob Barnett then had a PB of about 2 seconds. That is rapid. It's like all the coaches before this competition got together, made a pact, and they said, right, every heat we need a PB to help Dan Jervis out in his debut in his commentating. Thank you to the swimmers. It's helping me out a lot. And the result of the Heat 3 of the men's 200 breaststroke, Jacob Barnett for the win, William Miles second, and Caden Hitchens in third.
So Heat 4 men's 200 breaststroke. Fastest seed in lane number 4 is Lewis Hickman, the Royal Wolverhampton School. Another one of these excellent schools programs that we got around Great Britain. We did go through many of those schools yesterday. Some absolute crackers and some new ones come through. Certainly Repton's arrived on the scene wonderfully well. Mount Kelly, of course. And here, the Royal Wolverhampton School. Strathallan School up there in Perth. They've been producing fantastic swimmers. It's great to see. It's great to see the quality of the junior program here really going well. And I'll be talking to Ewan Dale in a little bit, the new performance pathway lead for swimming in Great Britain, and hear what he has to say about his plans for making sure that these junior swimmers are put in the right place to perform well on the junior stage, but most importantly to take them through to the senior stage as well. And a really good start in lane number 1 again. It's Andrew Arthur with Rafe Dobson of University of Stirling second, and these two guys in 1 and 2 very strong down this first 80.
I'm loving that underwater work from Rafe Dobson. I think he saw Andrew Arthur taking it out quite quick. Now, you can't see each other, as we've said, but underwater you kind of have a sneaky look, and I think that's what he's done, and I think he just wants to keep up with him.
Well, very quick around the wall. That was an excellent turn in lane 2 from Rafe Dobson. Certainly excellent around the wall. Possibly slightly better underwater in lane 1. It was Andrew Arthur of University of Aberdeen Performance. But these two are pushing each other, hopefully to a really good time here. This is excellent. Love to see the head-to-head battles. It's a 10-lane pool, so if you get lanes 0 and 10 having a go at each other, you can't really see. But these two, I'm sure, will certainly be aware that they're in a great head-to-head battle, and this is exciting for the two of these guys.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying watching this race. I think these two swimmers are showing prime example of Rafe Dobson is probably the quicker swimmer during the lengths here, but Andrew Arthur really is the best at the technical at the turns. Now, if you haven't got good technique, not saying Rafe hasn't, because he's got a fantastic technique, but technique gets you from one end of the pool to the other. But we are seeing Rafe Dobson now slowly start to take the lead.
Well, it's the black hat closer to us of those two, Rafe Dobson of University of Stirling, and he's got the stronger finish here, it looks like. The last 25 metres, very good indeed. Hits the wall pretty much on a stretch, and that's very good. And under 2 minutes 20 for both of those swimmers. That's outstanding, with entry times of 2:24, 2:24.8 and 2:24.9, and they've just gone 2:19.14 and 2:19.70. Well done, Rafe Dobson. Well done, Andrew Arthur. That's outstanding. Tyler Stone of Norwich coming third, and he's done a lifetime best as well. It's just phenomenal. It's every single heat. Rafe Dobson wins it, 2:19.14. Huge lifetime best. I wonder if those guys believe they could go under 2:20 with lifetime best of 2:23, 2:24. They've gone 2:19s. Goodness me. They don't do 2:22s, 2:21s, 2:20s.
We talk about big milestones in swimming. Now, every event has one. In the 1500, there's the 16-minute barrier, there's the 15-minute barrier, and I guess the 2:20 barrier is a massive milestone to break in the 200 breaststroke.
It certainly is, and for me, 200 breaststroke was a barrier. I couldn't do it. Did you do any 200 breaststrokes ever?
It was the only event I've never done, and I am glad.
The only one?
It would have been a spectacle to watch.
You'd still be going. Thank goodness I wasn't commentating on you. 2016 men's 200 breaststroke, Dan Jervis. We had to feed him with a spoon. Feed him on the end of a pole. He's still going. He's got 50 metres to go. 7 years later. Here we go. This is heat 5. I tell you what, the only sad thing about that is I'd be behind you. The heat 5 of the men's 200 metres breaststroke. Then Charlie Rogers of Basildon Phoenix is the fastest seed. He's gone off well. And I'm very pleased that the Basildon guys have got their really lovely bright orange hats. They're very easy to see. And in lane 5, Frederick Beasley of Poole, a bright yellow hat. He's probably started the best down this first 75.
Yeah, we're watching his swim now. He's got a really interesting technique. He's really pushing those arms forward, which is obviously vital, you know. He's really stretching out in that stroke. He's got long underwater, and the longer you're underwater, the more efficient you are through the water. Effectively, the quicker you are.
So at the halfway, it's Charlie Rogers leading in lane 4 from Frederick Beasley. Second, third was Tristan Lee. And these three guys now just starting to pick up the pace. And tactically, well, we do talk about the tactics on the 200s across the strokes, but it seems to be relatively the same. You get to the 100 metres, and then the big boys really make a move. And if you're not ready for it, if you're not planning it, you can get caught. And it really is, it makes a massive difference if you are ready and you anticipate it and you get going. And the big boys really do seem to make a huge move at that 100 metres turn.
Ooh, that 150 turn, Rogers takes the win, but just in front of Beasley in lane 5. Sorry, it looks like this is going to be a good race into this last 30 metres of it. Who wants it more?
Well, it looks like Charlie Rogers from Basildon wants it pretty badly here. He's just starting to take the lead, the orange hat, and that's a really excellent pace of race. And he's just starting to swim away. He's increasing his stroke tempo a little bit, but he's still holding decent water. Keep on holding that water, stretch it out. Coming back again is Frederick Beasley. Who's going to get the touch? I think it is Charlie. Charlie gets it, 2:21.26, lifetime best by 2.5 seconds again. Beasley second. Third was Shepherd of Cardiff. The 18-year-old, that's a great swim from him as well. It's another lifetime best for him. Wow.
Yeah, we nearly saw a 2-second PB from Charlie Rogers then, and he actually didn't have the best finish. So if he works on that by tonight, he can lower that again. Now the result of the men's 200 breaststroke heat 5, Charlie Rogers takes the win, 2:21.26, massive lifetime PB. Frederick Beasley from Poole in second, and Rydian Shepherd, City of Cardiff, in third. Now moving on to heat 6 of 9. In lane 4, William Tonks, Repton Swimming. Joseph Buxton in 3, Leon Taylor in 2.
Heat 6, it's last of the uncycle seeded heats. They're all seeded, but just the last 3 heats are cycle seeded, so they split them up between the last 3 heats. Otherwise you get all the fast guys in the last heat. And it'll be the same, pretty much the same as the final. It looks like we may have withdrawal here in this heat 6. I think that is in lane 3. So there's no lane 3 in this heat 6 of the men's 200 breaststroke, but in 4 it's William Tonks. So William's got clear water between him and the swimmer in lane number 2. That's Leon Taylor. And Dan, would you prefer to have a clear lane next to you, or would you prefer to have a competitor in there? I suppose on one side you don't get waves, but equally you don't have a competitor pushing you on.
Yeah, I don't know if it makes much of a difference in breaststroke, because you're looking forward, so you can't see the people in the lane next to you, even if they were there. But I was a distance freestyler, so I would spend quite a lot of time looking at the person next to me, whether I liked it or not. But we are seeing William Tonks take it out quite quick here. You know, he won the gold in the 100-metre breaststroke junior final and the gold in the 50-metre breaststroke junior final. Are we going to see him take another gold in the junior final tonight? We're going to see him in it. Well,
he's got a little bit of work to do to make sure he gets in there. I think he's a little bit better on the 50s and the 100s than he is on the 2, but let's see how his training has gone. He's still a youngster, he's still a junior. He's just 17 years of age as Tonks in 4, going slightly faster at the moment as Charles Kershaw of Swansea in 5. And up there in lane 2, Leon Taylor of City of Brighton and Hove. And well, it looks pretty strong at the moment. Good discipline down this third 50. And coming up to the turn, 55 metres to go right now. And let's see what they've got left on this final 50. Get round the wall nice and tight. He had a little bit of a cheeky look there to William Tonks on the turn. See how he can do down this last 50.
Yeah, that was a great 50 from Charles Kershaw. And he really took it out strong. Now, he is from my home programme, Swansea University, and I know they do work the second half of 200s, especially the first 50 of the second 100, so the third 50 altogether. But it looks as if it's working for him, and he's really holding strong into this last 15. But also up in lane 2, Leon Taylor's coming back like a rocket.
Well, it's going to be very tight. Wow, look at that. 2 100ths of a second. 2 100ths split first and second. That's Charles Kershaw just wins it. Well done. 2:21.67. Well done. Some good old fist pumping going on there. It's because it's a full second lifetime best for Charles Kershaw. Fantastic to see these times they're doing. Leon Taylor of City of Brighton and Hove. He came second from lane 2, 2:21.69. There we go, confirmation. So he's done a 1.2 second lifetime best. Well, the coaches in Britain, they're preparing their athletes very, very well indeed. This place is not that easy to come the first time. It's a proper venue, this. It's massive. It's like a cathedral. When you first walk in, it just oozes Olympic feel. It's wonderful. Philip Navacki in lane 4. Look at this, the first of the cycle-seeded heats in this men's 200 metres breaststroke. Navacki in 4. In 5, it's Alexander Casey of Loughborough University Swimming. Oscar Bilbao of Repton in 3. A bit of banging you can hear. They're just whacking their feet against that little ledge at the back. You can just see the back of the block. They put the back foot back just to allow them to get off the box quicker. And they just give it a good whack right before they go, just to make sure that it's locked and loaded, just so when they do push off, it doesn't slide backwards. And in lane 5, Alexander Casey of Loughborough University had the best start. So let's see what Navacki can do in 4, what Oscar Bilbao can do after getting off the plane from Arizona just a couple of weeks ago.
That was a great start from Alexander Casey. He took it to about 16 metres. Now in breaststroke, it is the only stroke where you can go as far as you want underwater, but you are only allowed one little fly kick with the pull-out underwater.
Well, yes, one fly kick, but I guess if you've only got one, use it to the very best of its use. Going pretty well now as Philip Navacki in the green hat right in the centre. Navacki leading. Really effective pull. Look at that. He gets really excellent momentum as he goes along. Does Philip Navacki of Millfield School, and he's had a good first 100 here. And he's a decent medley swimmer as well, Navacki. So and that's a 200. So he should be able to have the stamina to come back. He's gone out fast though. It'll be really interesting to see what he's got left. Tactically different from the rest of the field. He's pushing it down the first 125. Oscar Bilbao's going with him from Repton.
Yeah, that was a very quick turn from Philip Navacki. Now, we might have said this already, but the walls you have to treat as if they're boiling hot. You don't want to be on them for very long, because the longer you're on them, your other competitors they've already left. They've already started the next length.
Yes, and the a real trick certainly on fly and breaststroke is to get the knees up. Let's watch this. Get the knees up. Really good. Boom. Very good indeed. And Navacki's having a good swim here. Bilbao second, Casey third, and Godsill fourth. But this is good, and if he can bring this home, he's going to have a cracking chance of getting a good centre lane for the final. And he's still a junior, Navacki, so this is excellent.
Yeah, we're speaking to Graham Wardell, a breaststroke coach from Cardiff earlier, and he was saying the aim is to pull the heels up, but without pulling the knees up too much to cause drag.
There you go, keep it nice and efficient. Not ever having anything stick out unnecessarily. This is really good from Navacki. Lifetime best 2:12.7, just outside of that 2:13.7, so only a second outside his lifetime best, and that's an impressive swim from the youngster from Millfield. Very impressive indeed, and he'll have a decent lane. Yeah, good smile. Just about. Go on. Yeah, thumbs up. Excellent. Job done, I think that. Job done comfortably. Solid swim. Didn't hurt himself too much, but he's shown that he's got excellent speed, and he can also come back off it.
And the result of Heat 7. Philippe Nowacki from Millfield winning it. Oscar Bilbao second, and third Joshua Mitchell, Edinburgh University. Great times there, but especially from Philippe Nowacki, just outside his personal best.
Well, that's the marker. And we have talked a little bit about, would you prefer to be in the first of the last 3 heats or the last of the last 3 heats? And he set a marker, and it's a pretty decent one. 2:13. Here we go. Max Morgan, winner of the 50 breaststroke, silver on the 100. And I have to say, I thought he had it. Butler got the touch, and that's actually got him to the World Championships in Singapore as the breaststroke on the relay, because that medley relay has qualified. If you add up all the individual hundreds, they've set a qualification standard, and that has been met. Morgan in 4. So that's silver on the 100, gold on the 50. What's he got in his locker on the 200? Max Morgan from Leeds in the centre. Very laid-back guy, really, really lovely to chat to him. But goodness me, he's one of the most laid-back guys I've ever met. Rory Dixon of Stirling in 5. Oliver Jones of Poole in 6. Christian Ryan of University of Bath up there in 3.
Yeah, watching Rory Dickinson's stroke there. Now, Andy, breaststroke is the most inefficient stroke of the 4. You know, it is quite unnatural, the shapes that you pull your body into, and it does naturally cause a lot of drag. So the longer you spend underwater, the more you're in streamline, the easier it is to glide through that water, cut through that water.
It is lovely watching the best swimmers in the world do this stroke. Look at Max Morgan in the centre. The efficiency, the beauty of an excellent, long, powerful stroke is just wonderful to see, isn't it? Morgan, a super proponent of the breaststroke. First to turn, I think, it's very close indeed. It was Morgan by 5/100ths from Christian Ryan in 3, and Rory Dixon of Stirling in 5. And these 3 guys now swimming away from the rest of the field, and hopefully they can push each other to a decent time. 2:13, the fastest time so far from that previous heat, and this is looking pretty spicy, this one.
Yeah, I think these guys know they're probably safe to get back tonight. So will they slow down into this last 60 metres? We don't know, because you might make it back, but you want to determine what lane you're going to be in, because the centre lanes, from personal experience, was my favourite.
Well, I suppose there's a centre lane advantage, maybe, although quite what advantage it is. It's just I am at the fastest, I am in the centre lane, I'm good. And the other one is I've got a lane, I've got a chance. And now this starting to hot up, certainly in lane 3. Christian Ryan bringing it home very well from the University of Bath. Max Morgan's stroke rate, it is much slower. It's bizarre given the fact that he won the 50, but it is an excellent 200 breaststroke technique. Very efficient, and that's a good swim. 2:14.8, job done for him. Max Morgan 2:16.3 second, with Dixon third, 2:17.6. I think they'll all get through. I suppose the worrying thing, with another big heat to go, is coming third in one of the big heats. For your 3 heats, 3/3 is 9. There's only 8 lanes in the final, so just be careful.
Yeah, there'll be a little bit of a wait for him, Christian Ryan, to see how this last heat is going to go. But going in third, he's given himself strong contention to get back tonight. Just waiting for confirmation, and here it is, Heat 8. The winner, Christian Ryan, Bath University. Half a second PB for him, great swim. Max Morgan in second, and Joshua Inglis from Mount Kelly in third.
So that's the second last heat of this men's 200 metres breaststroke. The final heat now, it is heat 9. And there, right in the centre, Greg Butler, winner of the 100 metres breaststroke, ducked under the minute for the first time in his life. What a massive barrier that is. And in doing so, in winning the 100 metres gold medal, when you add up all the stroke events, the winners' times, they they all add up to a time which is underneath the qualification standard for that World Championship 4x100 medley relay. So Greg Butler's got himself on the team. He didn't actually do the individual qualification time on the 100 metres breaststroke, but he did for the relay. He did enough for the relay, so the relay goes, he gets to go, which is fantastic news, Greg Butler. And I guess when they get there, they'll decide whether it would be appropriate for him to also swim the 100. I'm sure he will, unless it gets in the way of that medley. Very important for that.
Interesting to watch, Andy. The camera was just on Greg Butler now, and people watching back home, you'd think he'd be taking off his clothes ready to dive in, but there's a little bit of a problem here, as we can see. So Greg, being the experienced athlete he is, put his jumper back on. He needs to maintain that heat. He needs to keep his muscles loose, because when you get cold, your muscles tighten up, and he wants to be as loose as he possibly can be getting in this pool. So great, great education for the youngsters there, watching Greg prepare for this race.
Indeed, just relaxed and aware behind the blocks, I think, is an excellent mantra. Be relaxed, but be aware of what's going on, and just make sure that you can react to whatever comes along. And those kind of things, if you add up all the different reasons why a meet could be delayed, there's lots and lots and lots of them. So just preparing mentally for a little minute or 2 or 3 delay, such a good idea. Greg Butler off Loughborough performance in lane 4, the fastest seed, 1 goal on the 100. What can he do here? The final heat of the 200 metres breaststroke. Butler in 4, George Smith of University of Stirling in 5, Harvey Freeman of Loughborough University in 6. Up there in 3 is Maxwell Anderson with Ryan Griffith of City of Sheffield in 2.
Great start there from Greg Butler in lane 4. Also from George Smith in 5 and Harvey Freeman in 6. Now Greg is taking this out quite swiftly. 29.98 for the first 50. That's pretty good for a morning.
Lovely breaststroke. Look at this. Well, the amount of distance he gets on every single stroke, and very much the mantra for these distance these 200 metres breaststroke swimmers: maximize the distance you can get for the effort that you put into every stroke. So yes, you're going to put in good effort, but make sure that you get the maximum distance you can for that effort, and keeping up the speed. It really is a beautiful thing to watch, isn't it? 63.59 through the first 100. Butler over half a second faster than the swimmer touching in second place at the 100 metres. That's George Smith of Stirling. And then in third, 1 lane closer to us, is Harvey Freeman of Loughborough. And these 3 guys just starting to swim away a little bit from the rest of the field here.
Yeah, I wonder if Greg is going to hold back a little bit with this last 60 metres to go now. But he's looking great. He's looking really strong. He's looking really in control. He was in control before he even got in the pool. So this is exactly where he wants to be. He wins that 150 metre, 50 left in a 1:38.17. It's actually not going to be too far off his PB at the end of this race.
Well, his PB is 2:10.4. And he's going to be a tiny bit out, I think. But again, solid swimming in these heats. And it looks like they're testing themselves a little bit. He's on the plane to Singapore as Greg Butler, the leader here. So doesn't need to worry too much about whether it works or whether it doesn't work on this 200. The 100 will be a massive focus, particularly with the medley relay. This is good. 2:13.1. So he's just, what, 2.5 seconds outside of his lifetime best there. George Smith second. Harvey Freeman third. It looks like 2:13s will comfortably make it into the final. 2:14 should do. 2:15, I'm not sure. I think it will.
Do you think you would have given them a good run for their money in that race, Andy?
If I was doing freestyle, I would have probably won. Actually, not now, I wouldn't, that's for certain. But no, they're outstanding breaststrokers, these guys, and huge respect for how they do it. It's just wonderful to watch. Greg Butler wins the final heat of that men's 200 breaststroke, 2:13.14. George Smith second. Now Freeman third, 2:15.6. I think he's going to get in. Let's have a look. 2:13.61. Is he going to get in? Yes, he does. Well, that's comfortably in. That's going to be a final, isn't it? Look at that. Butler in fastest with Navaki, Smith, Ryan, Freeman, Max Morgan, he can go much quicker as well. Bill Bowen, Inglis has made it in for Mount Kelly. That's great news. Made the European junior time in the 100 metres breaststroke, so let's hope we can see some more juniors qualifying for the final, and certainly some of the seniors as well. So many more entrants this year than there were last year, and it is fascinating to see how it all has unfolded this year, because it's pretty much the same consideration time, qualifying time for this Aquatics GB 2025 Championships as it was for the Olympic trials last year. But just, I don't know how, is it 25% more athletes this year? There was a figure, I can't remember what it was, but it's an awful lot more.
Yeah, I think we're over 1,000 athletes with the able-bodied and the para-athletes this year, which is really exciting. A year after the Olympics, usually people take an extended break after Olympics and maybe not suffer a little bit, but, you know, it's expected to be a little bit slower the year after. But I don't know what has happened from 2024 to 2025, but these swimmers just seem to be on fire.
This is the men's 50 meters freestyle.
Yeah, absolutely, Dan. It's great to see these young swimmers stepping up, isn't it, in these heats? It almost seems like when you look at these qualification heats, you get best time in almost every single one. Going to the 50 freestyle now. There's 10 heats of that one, and the first 3 heats are all para swimmers. There is Owen Say. Goes in the centre lane. He's a nationally classified swimmer. The swimmers in para swimming, the initial classification that they get to determine which class they are in is a national classification, and then as the swimmers progress through the ranks, they get their international classification. Sometimes takes a little bit of time because there are a limited amount of international classification teams. The same teams do the classification across the world just to ensure consistency. So we have 2 internationally classified swimmers here, Harvey Phillips and Bruce Dee, and Owen Say, the nationally classified swimmer, in the centre. Different classifications: Harvey Phillips in the S4 class, Owen Say in the S8, and Bruce Dee in the S6. So, as we've been saying all week, S1 to 10, those are physical impairments, S1 being the most severe and S10 being the least impaired. So expect the swimmer with the least impairment, Owen Say, to be faster than the others. We'll see what kind of points he will get. How close is he to his standard time equivalent to the world record? 30.49 for him. And I can tell you that's 572 points, 32.81 for Bruce Dee. That is just outside his entry time. 6.60 for Bruce Dee. And there's Harvey Phillips with the most impairment of all the swimmers in this particular heat. 49.28 for Harvey Phillips. And he'll be pleased with that one. That's faster than his entry time. Well done, Harvey. But Bruce Dee, Paralympian from Paris, will be on top in terms of points with 32.81. He swims in the S6 class, a swimmer with short stature, inspired by the likes of Maisie Summers-Newton, his teammate at Northampton. And the result is confirmed, and those 3 times pretty decent there. Owen Say just outside his entry time, as was Bruce Dee, but Harvey Phillips inside his entry time. So those swimmers, I think, should all progress to the para final later on, and 4 more para swimmers in this second heat.
So heat 2, the men's 50 freestyle. Fastest seed is Ethan Soppet-Moss of Corby. Para athletes in 0, 1 and 8 and 9. And this is the second heat of this men's 50 metres freestyle. Super starts up in lane number 2. That was Leon Molam of University of Stirling, and he's gone off absolutely flying down this 50. He really has. Now coming back in the centre in 4 is Ethan Soppett-Moss of Corby. It looks like the yellow hat of the Corby athlete's going to take it. He does, and his time 23.40, 4/10 of a second lifetime best. In fact, nearly a half a second. That was very good from him. And how about those para athletes, Paul?
Yeah, looks like Matthew Redfern, I think, first in there. 25.88 for Matthew, visually impaired swimmer. And he should have a higher number of points. Here's the British record holder, and he gets in 25.88. Kieran Williams, Rowan Brennan, Thomas Navarro-Barber. Close contest there. Look at that, half a second separating those 3. Thomas Navarro-Barber looking for the freestyle treble. He's looking to add the 50 title to the 100 and the 400 he won earlier in the week.
But Nathan Soppett-Moss winning it for Corby, and a very good swim from him. Heat 3 of the men's 50 metres freestyle. Jake Franzi of Worksop, the fastest seed in lane 4. Morgan Greenway of Swansea in 5. Triton in 6. Dwan in 7. Finley Club of Edinburgh University. These guys, entry times 23.8.
Take your marks.
Jake Franzi of Worksop Dolphins. He's 6th in the 100 metres backstroke junior final. Quite a few juniors in this event. Let's see what he can do right in the centre here. Right at the top, actually, it looks pretty good. It looks like maybe in lane 3 at the moment. It's Finley Club of Edinburgh University. Also going very well is Alan Venables of Tilehurst in 8. It looks like it might be Venables. Oh, yes, it is. Wow, 23.1 off a 23.85 entry time. 23.18. Wow. There you go, yes. Yeah, I tell you what, if he stretches on his finish, he finished with a relatively level body. If he just turns his shoulders in and really drives that arm into the finish, he can go even faster. That was almost a 22 high, that from Venables. Really impressive, that was. Loved it. Well done, Alan. Tilehurst's Alan Venables. They'll be dancing in the streets of Tilehurst tonight. Well done. 23.1. Golly. Sam Sutcliffe of Ramsbottom will be in the fastest seeded heat lane 4 in this heat 4 of the men's 50 metres freestyle. It's getting quick. Well, entry time still 23.6s and 23.7s. Just 11.100 split the whole field on entry times, but we've had some quick stuff so far. 23.18 is the fastest that we've had so far. Let's see what these guys can do. And this pretty quick down this first 25. Really good in lane number 2. That's Aidan Cannon, and the Cannon firing fantastically down this 50 metres freestyle. It's heat 4, City of Brighton and Hove. Wonderful swim from him. What's he going to do? Close to 22.98. Well, I thought 23.1 from the previous heat was good, but that's excellent. And off an entry time of 23.7, he's gone 22.9. Wow, isn't that fantastic to see that, Dan?
Yeah, it's great. It's great to see the smile on his face as well. You know, he knows he deserves it. He knows he's worked hard. And I'd be smiling as well if I won that heaters. Andy in a 22.98, Aidan Cannon. Lachlan Parrott Millfield in 2nd and Ryan Larkin in 3rd.
Very close 3rd, 4th, 5th. Look at that, 0.63, 0.65, 0.68. But no doubt about the winner. Aidan Cannon fired off a cracker. Alexander Davis is in the fastest seed, lane 4 in this heat 5, the men's 50 freestyle. And this really is coming through thick and fast, isn't it? Bud Nicky of University of Surrey in 2, in 3 is Milne, 4 is Alexander Davis of Crawley, Noah Wheeler in 5, Adam Metcalf of Loughborough 6, Jensen Norris 7. Well, we've seen the 22.98 already. Now, the fastest seed is 23.5 here. Surely we're not going to keep on having them go 22s, 23. Wow, it's amazing. At the top there, maybe in lane number 1. Giordani of University of Birmingham, the red hat, going very well. I think he's in the lead. It's mighty close, though. Also going well in 7 is Jensen Norris. Norris gets it, 23.19 from Giordani, second up there in 2. Look at that. Hat over the goggles, and the Perth City Swim Club swimmer, Jensen Norris, takes heat 5 for the men's 50 free.
It is quite funny watching these reactions, Andy, because when I used to touch a wall and turn around, I used to either smile or sometimes I'd pull a face where I'm like, oh, it's all right. Jensen Norris pulled that face then, but he should be happy with it, winning it. Shakil Giordani, second, and Harry Milne, third. And here we go, heat 6 of 10. Zachariah Dale, lane 4. Daniel Genkas, lane 5. You're getting through these 50s quite quick, Andy. It's quick swimming, that's why.
Well, it's very quick swimming, rattling through. 22.9, the fastest so far. I wonder how close that's going to be to making the B final. I don't think it'll make the A, but it's a very good swim. Evan Davis down there, Cardiff in 8. Dale in 4. It is heat 6 of 10 heats of this men's 50 metres freestyle. Right at the top, Rowan Smith of City of Sheffield possibly had the best start. Coming back at him, one lane closer, is Angelo Gianni Contini of Loughborough University. And he's going well up there in 1. So it looks like possibly in lane 1 it is. Oh, who gets the touch? What's the time as well? 22.93. Gianni Contini, a half-second lifetime best. Smile? No. Why not? Half a second on a 50 freestyle. Come on, guys. We should be coaching this. Coach there. I want proper reactions at the end. That's a brilliant swim.
Yeah, excellent swim from all these boys, but winning Contani in lane 1. Second, Zachariah Dale, and third, Ronan Smith. Now, we have already seen Zachariah Dale. He came first in the 50 backstroke junior final. So we know he's good at 50s.
No, it's not bad, is it? Second in that heat. Heat 7, last of the uncycle seeded heats. It's going to get pretty spicy fairly quickly from now on. Aaron Elkers of University of Stirling, the fastest seed in 4. Jamie Ingram next to him in 5. Won the B final of the 100 fly. Harry Sharp, lane 6, Warrender Bath Club. That's lane 8, Matthew Rooney from Leeds University Aquatics. Here we go. Heat 7 of 10. Tell you what, some big lads in here. Lane 5, Jamie Ingram. Gracious. Come on, sub 23.
Take your marks.
Heat 7, men's 50 metres freestyle. Elkos of Stirling, the fastest seed in 4. Ingram in 5. Ingram had a very good start. Also at the top there in 0 and 1. It's Hyde and the Grice. Hyde and the Grice going well. It looks like maybe now in lane number 7 going well. Rio Dowdu of Mount Kelly is at a super meet here. And a very good second, 25. Get in the wall. Oh, I say. Did he get it? 23.02. A tiny bit of a glide in. If he can just drive that arm a little bit harder. He had a 22. Oh, it's still a lifetime best. Can't get too upset, but oh my word. Danny was 3/100ths from breaking the 23.
Yeah, that is frustrating, but, you know, small margins on these 50s will make the difference between first and last in the race. Now, the result of Heat 7, Rio Daidu winning it. Second, Alexander Smith. Jamie Ingram, third. That was a great swim. These boys really are putting the name right when it comes to splash and dash. There's a lot of splashing in the water. You can barely see the swimmers.
You can, but if you think that's what it's all about, I've got to tell you, these 50s are about to change forever with the introduction of Olympic 50 fly, 50 back and 50 breast. I tell you, the whole way sprint swimming is going to be coached and trained. It's going to change out of sight, I'm sure of that. Looking forward to having a chat with Ewan Dale fairly shortly, the performance pathway lead for British swimming. See what he thinks the changes are going to be. First of the cycle-seeded heats, Alex Cahoon in 4. This is going to be spicy. Very fast. Cooley in 5, Shepherd in 6. Adama in 3 from Mount Kelly. What can these guys go on this 50 metres freestyle? It's very fast. Look up there in lane number 1. Joseph Way. Ashley Sparks in 0. Way in 1. He's going well. Now in the centre, they're coming through. Cahoon, well, he's taken a little bit of time to get into his stroke, but this is good. Adama in 3 from Mount Kelly's good, but Cahoon and Cooley in 4 and 5. And it is, well, it's Alexander Cahoon 22-22, and then well, tie for second place, Jordan Cooley and Abdul Jabbar Adama equal 22.51. Wow.
That was a great swim from Alexander Cahoon there, winning it. Second, Adama. And third, Jordan Cooley. These boys know that they have to put a really quick time this morning, because we know in 2 heats' time is the world champion.
Ben Proud's coming up. Cahoon needs to do something special in this final. Only 6 on the 100 freestyle. It was mighty close to making that relay team, I've got to say. So unlucky. Just literally a couple of hundreds. So this is heat 9 of the men's 50 metres freestyle. A couple more international athletes here. Great to see them in these heats, but they not allowed to go and swim in the finals. We need as many British lanes because they're choosing 6 different meets this summer. So it's a closed meet for the finals. And here's Matt Richards. Mills in 3. Jacob Mills. Well, he's going to the World Championships on the relay. Richards also. There is Mills. So Mills in 3, Matt Richards in 4, Alex Painter in 5, Jacob Whittle in 6. And this is going to be very, very quick, I'm sure of that. And with Ben Proud in the final heat, they've got to do something special here. In 3, it's Jacob Mills, and he looked good from Repton. Very fast turnover, extraordinarily fast turnover. And he's going well. He's heading up Matt Richards and Alex Painter here. And what a swim he's got. Brilliant swim, 21.96. Oh, my word. Well, his lifetime best was 22.3, which I have to say was a good, decent time. 21.9. That's outstanding. Whoa, that's fantastic. Jacob Mills, well, he had a brilliant 100 metres freestyle. He qualified for Singapore individually on that 100 free. Well, saying that, he was second in under the time, so that I guess there's consideration. But that's utterly brilliant. 21.9 from the youngster.
That was amazing. I think everyone in this room knew that as well. There was a big applause when he finished. Jacob winning that heat. Matt Richards in 2nd, and 3rd, Alexander Painter.
Wow. Dan, 21.9 from a 17-year-old. Golly, that was extraordinary. Very, very good. Well, there's 1:50 to go. The final heat of this men's 50 metres freestyle. And Great Britain's Olympic silver medalist Ben Proud swimming for Chelsea and Westminster here at this championships. I know he's living locally and training in this pool. Olympic silver medalist. In lane 4, Lewis Burris in 5, he's quick. Dan Jones in 6, Calvin Fry in 3. The final heat of the men's 50 metres freestyle. Ben Proud ran in the centre. Oh, super start yet again. And look at this stroke. It's unique, it's powerful, it's beautiful. James Gibson has worked with him an awful lot, and this is wonderful stuff. Also going well in 6 is Dan Jones of Swansea. But Ben Proud right in the centre. Oh, this is fantastic. Well, Olympic silver medalist on the 50 free. He likes to get faster and faster as the meet goes on. 22.0. Well, he's not the fastest into the final. Goodness me. Jacob Mills will be going fastest into that final. I wonder how he's going to be feeling. I can ask him right now. Jacob, welcome to the commentary box. What a swim that was. 21.9.
Wow, thanks, Andy. Yeah, it was good to break 22 this morning, so come back tonight and try and get down near that world junior record tonight.
And what were the tactics? Do you have tactics for a 53, or do you just launch yourself and get going?
Just send it.
Really?
Just send it.
No, come on. Tell me about the 100 freestyle, because that was off the scale, wasn't it? I mean, that 48 flat was fantastic, and to do the qualification time for Singapore.
Yeah, I mean, I'm over the moon with that, to be honest. Like, to go the qualification time, not only just the relay. Couldn't be happier, really couldn't be happier.
Well, it's brilliant. And look at this, there's the summary of the finalists. So Jacob Mills is going to be next to Ben Proud and Alex Cahoon. You're going to be fastest next to those guys either side of you.
Can't wait for that. It's going to be a good final.
You just beat the Olympic silver medalist in the heats of the 50 freestyle.
Wow.
Well done. Well, listen,
you.
you're puffing a lot. I would love to talk to you again, but go and swim down.
Cool,
but
thank you,
fantastic to have you in the commentary box.
you.
And well done.
Thank
Brilliant
you
50, brilliant 100.
Brilliant, thank you.
What a lovely chap he is. He really is. And what a final that's going to be. That's going to be absolutely brilliant. Really good. Golly, well, I certainly don't expect that Ben Proud is going to lose the final, but with a 21-9 from young 17-year-old Jacob Mills from Repson, who knows what can happen there. And down, what a lovely, he's an absolute monster. He's just sat on the seat next to us, and all went dark. He's huge.
Yes, and obviously you just go out the pool, so thank you for soaking all my sheets there, Jacob.
But what an attack. And funny, he said his tactics was just dive in and launch it. That's an interesting strategy. Here's the para guys, the para finalists in that men's 50 metres freestyle. Just coming up on the screen now for you, Paul.
Yeah, here they are. Matt Redfern, British record holder, he leads the way, 7.21, 6.98 for Navarro Barber. As I said, he's going for the freestyle treble in the para races, so watch out for him later on. Bruce D not too far behind. That should be a close one, that one.
Well, there's going to be some wonderful finals this evening. That 50 freestyle, who knows what's going to happen there? Wow. Siobhan Marie O'Connor's got the British record from Rio Olympics. She was quite spectacularly brilliant, you know, Siobhan Marie O'Connor. I think one of the swimmers in British history that I think goes down as one of the most unsung heroes, because the time that she did was really off the scale brilliant.
Winning the silver medal in this pool, actually, Andy.
She's still, yeah, I think she's still one of the top 10 in history on that women's 200 medley. Did the trials here for that Rio Olympics, yeah, absolutely right, and then went to Rio and got that silver. This is the first heat of the women's 200 medley. There's 10 heats of it. Megan Willis is the fastest seed in lane 4. And right next to her, Brooke Hale, the SM9. There's quite a few para swimmers here, Paul.
Yeah, different classifications as well. We have the SM9 swimmers in the middle lane, Megan Willis, Brooklyn Hale, Evie Lambert and Connie Rackley. They're all in the SM9 class. They have physical impairments. Isabella Haynes as well. Right at the top there in lane 1, she is in the SM9 classification as well. Iona Winifred, closest to us there in the yellow cap right at the bottom. We saw her yesterday swim in the 50 metres butterfly, just 14 years of age. Just last week, Iona Winifred. And she will be hoping that she can dip inside the SM7 qualification standard. And next to her, right at the bottom, is Eliza Humphrey, swimmer in the SM11 classification. So a swimmer without vision, Eliza Humphrey. So a lot to look out for here. Scarlett Humphrey, of course, her sister, is a British record holder, and she goes in lane number 3 as well. And yeah, you can see the tapper there for Scarlett Humphrey and for Eliza. These tapping sticks going through the turn. And we just missed that one as we see the swimmers going through. But we spoke about the tappers yesterday, Dan. Important job.
A lot of pressure on them as well.
Absolutely.
So are the tappers, I know we spoke about this yesterday, but it'd be good to speak about it again today. Are the tappers on each, are they there every day in training?
Yeah, we believe so. We had a Northampton spy tell us that the tappers are there every day in training to let the Humphreys know where the ends of the pool are. We get the volunteers in. Bruce D's mum, Mo D, apparently, is a regular tapper in the Northampton training sessions. Welsh swimmer out in front here, Dan. Megan Wills from Torvine Dolphins.
But did they used to be called something else, the tappers?
Well, maybe in your day, Andy's, yeah, the bonking sticks. I know that amuses you. We're not going to be able to speak to Andy Jameson now. He's just creased up under the desk now. We're more PC these days, I think, International Paralympic Committee.
Just asking the question.
It's a good question to ask. Megan Willis is coming in. Dan's going to be happy with a Welsh win here. Commonwealth Games representative. Megan Willis, 801 points for her. Brooklyn Hale in second. She's been good, the Cockermouth swimmer. And Evie Lambert in third. Let's have a look at Scarlett Humphrey. There's the tap at the end. Stretches for the wall. That was a good finish from Scarlett. 2:57.19 for Scarlett Humphrey. She is the British record holder at 2:48.90. How do you say Torvine Dolphins, is it?
Torvine, yeah, Torvine Dolphins. It's quite close to Newport City.
Oh, okay.
Lovely area, actually. I know Megan quite well, actually, because she was on the 2022 Commonwealth Games team with me.
Yeah, she's one that's been around for a few years now, actually. Megan, it's good to see her making progress. 2:44 for Megan. 2:44.41. Her PB was 2:44.52, so she's knocked a tenth of a second off that. And she's got 801 para points. And the para swimmers quite often, they look for the points to get into that kind of next range, isn't it? So to be hitting that 800 point range, that'll be a big milestone for Megan.
What does 1,000 points mean?
It is generally the world record, but it's not always the case, because Aquatics GB want to make the points totals current. So quite often, if it's an old world record that the world record holder has retired many years ago, it is one of the top times in the world rankings over the last 5 years. So that's why we'll see sometimes points totals above 1,000 points, which are not world record, but generally it's the world record time. There's the lineup for Heat 2. Again, a range of classifications. Astrid Carroll in the SM12 class. Again, a visually impaired swimmer. Alice Ty, Paralympic royalty. Alice Ty. In fact, I don't see Alice Ty there, actually. She made a qualifying standard the other day, and she's not there. Tony Shaw is there, though. Paralympic medalist from Tokyo, and just missed out in this event in the games in Paris. But Bethany Firth is back in the water again. It's an incredible story from Bethany Firth. She missed the Paris games last year because she gave birth to her daughter Charlotte just in August last year, and here she is back in the water and leading them through ahead of Faye Rogers, who has been on absolute fire this week. Faye Rogers. So Bethany Firth in the SM14 class and Faye Rogers in the SM10 classification. Watch out for Brock Whiston as well in lane 7. She is actually a Paralympic champion in this event, so we could see some qualification standards being hit in this one. But it's great to see Bethany Firth back in the water. She's been a real star. 6 Paralympic gold medals in her career, Bethany Firth. And she's leading them through in 106.52. Faye Rogers going well in second position there. She'll be looking to hit another qualification standard. She's got 2 already under her belt. But look at Bethany Firth go. Wow, this is incredible. Bethany Firth is a British record holder at 2:19.55. The entry time, the qualification time for Singapore is 2:24.89. Bethany Firth now on her way home. Well, she's been an absolute star. I think I'm right in saying she was the first Northern Ireland swimmer to win a gold in the Commonwealth Games. I think it was the same night as Dan Whiffen in Birmingham, but Bethany Firth was first. And she is coming home now. Let's have a look at the clock here. 2:24, the qualification standard. She's gone out there, maybe paying for that early pace. But a remarkable swim here from Bethany Firth, back in the water again, just 8 months after giving birth to her daughter. Fantastic stuff for her. And Faye Rogers in the S10 class, and that could be inside the British record for Faye Rogers. Another record-breaking performance from Faye. And I think, let's have a watch for Brock now, coming in lane 7. 2:48 for Brock Whiston, Paralympic champion, outside her entry time or qualification time. Bethany Firth looking great though. 2:27.36 for Bethany in the S14 class. But Faye Rogers, another record-breaking performance for Faye. 2:31.00. Tony Shaw finished in 2:43.12 as well in the SM9 classification. I think that should be good enough for her to progress to the final. Brock Whiston, the lower numerical class in that heat, should have enough points for her to qualify as well. But we'll get a summary of the points at the end of all of these 200 individual medley heats.
Now moving on to heat 3 of 10. Lily Green in lane 4, only age 15. You know, it is quite intimidating swimming in a pool this big at that young age, but going in lane 4, it's not bad.
Fastest seed in this heat 3, Lily Green of Mount Kelly. There's the athlete from University of Bath in 3, Matilda Ransom. So Ransom in 3, Lily Green of Mount Kelly in 4, Megan Titchener of Torvine Dolphins in 5. Empty lane in 6. So there's going to be clear water between Titchener in 5 and Aitken in 7 of University of Aberdeen Performance. But very good start. Right in the centre is Lily Green of Mount Kelly. Nice smooth butterfly stroke. Seems to pause a tiny bit just on entry. See if she can get her hips up a little bit quicker and get that undulation a little bit more flowing. But it's a very effective stroke at the moment, this. And how does she hit the wall? Beautifully, right at the end of the stroke. I think second to the wall, or third even. Titchener first, with Wheeler second. Green was third.
Yeah, taking this race out quite strong is Megan Titchener. Now, all swimmers have a preferred stroke, but in medley you have to master all 4. You can be the best swimmer in the world at butterfly, but if you haven't got a good backstroke, then that doesn't mean anything. But I tell you who has got a good backstroke is Megan Titchener. She is flying on this second length.
Well, she looks great, doesn't she? Oh, little bit of a glide there, but it was effective. So halfway through this third heat of the women's 200 medley. The clear leader at the moment is Megan Titchener at Torvine Dolphins. In 4 it's Lily Green, and Green's got a decent breaststroke, but so is the young Welsh woman in lane 5. Also having a go now up there in lane number 2 is Gabrielle Freeman of Northumberland and Durham. But this is a great breaststroke from Titchener. Yeah,
a great breaststroke from her, sorry. But she has got a good team down in Torvine. So her teammate is Theodora Taylor, which we have seen a few times. And Tom Croat is the coach. I was speaking to Tom this morning. They're on a very good competition. I said, congratulations, Tom. You know, so many good swims seen from him. You know, she's taking the lead out here. Third 50, 1:49.67, followed quite closely by Ransom in lane 3. It's a clear winner here, though.
So it's Titchener in 5 from 3, Matilda Ransom. And Titchener, well, this is a very good swim. Her entry time, 2:24.22, and she's going to be well inside that. A 2:22? Yes, indeed. 2:22.69. 2.5 lifetime best for the winner of Heat 3 of the women's 200 medley. Second was Oriana Wheeler, way down in lane number 9, closest to us from Swansea University. 2:24.3. Half a second lifetime best for her. And third, Matilda Ransom, up in 3. Well, she took it on, didn't she? She took it on her own and really drove it. had to really perform pretty much all the way on her own. That was a great swim.
Great swim, and Megan does, as we've said, train in Torvine. Now, that is a 25-metre pool, but every Saturday, I can imagine Megan and Theodora, they do come down to Swansea and train with Swansea High Performance Centre, so they do get training in a 50-metre pool. And it's working for her. She won it. Megan Titchener, 22.22.69. Second, Oriana Wheeler. And third, Matilda.
Heat 4 of the women's 200 individual medley. And we've got an international swimmer. We've got Christina Schultz of Mount Kelly in lane 4. Again, there's quite a few international swimmers here. There she is, Christina Schultz. And delighted to see the international swimmers here. There's been some cracking swimmers, isn't there? Nigerian swam for Mount Kelly on that 50 metres freestyle. I know he's looking to try and get over to university in America. And great to see them in the heats, but not for the finals, because it is a big selection meet this for the British team for 6 different events. So we need to make sure that we got as many British swimmers in those finals as we possibly can to make sure everyone gets a decent and fair shot at selection. So it's internationals allowed in the heats, but not in the finals. This is heat 4. And Christina Schultz of Mount Kelly goes as the fastest seed. There's a couple of para athletes in here. Poppy Mascot, superstar, up there in lane number 1, Paul.
Yeah, Poppy had a great Paralympic Games. As we said, our second swim of the morning. We saw a little bit earlier on. And yeah, silver medal in the Paralympic Games for Poppy. She won 3 gold medals. She's very strong in the opening of this individual medley. She won gold in the 100 backstroke and 100 butterfly, so I expect her to be a strong front end in this medley.
Well, Lara Turner gone off very quickly, closest to us in lane number 9 from Aquatics Newcastle swim team. And she had a very good fly, but the rest of the field started to come back at her. Certainly in lane 8, 1 lane up from her. And that bright green hat is Erin Perman of Exeter City. And she's leading, coming into this halfway mark in this heat 4 of the women's 2am. So it looks like it might be Perman. It's going to be pretty close at the halfway. It is indeed. So Perman in 8 from Selen Toy in 2. Stoimanova in 5. And Poppy Mascot. Well, Poppy had a decent first 100 there, touching in 9th in 1:10.6, Paul.
Yeah, she hasn't been great in the heats this week. I think we said that a little bit earlier on. She should qualify comfortably for the para final, and she's been able to step it up substantially in those finals. 2 qualification standards achieved already from Poppy Mascot. So I know she's on good form, but yeah, not being great in the heats this week, but able to step it up when it matters in the finals.
Well, it must be nice to go easy if you would like to. Some people do much prefer to do it like that, and then others, like maybe people like Duncan Scott or James Guy, they do like to test themselves in the heats. Very different ways of doing it, whatever is most preferable.
I do know why, actually, because I know in the big competitions they have to go out fast in the heats, because if they don't, they're not going to make it back. So in these competitions, they have to get used to that.
Absolutely, and some people love doing it like that, and some people still, if they can, prefer to reserve their energy. Margarita Stoimanova of Newham and University of East London wins this heat 4 of the women's 2am. And second was Chloe Cook. Just coming in at the top there now is Poppy Mascot.
Yeah, Poppy took an extended break after Paris, so she's not been back in the water too long, maybe just the tail end of last year. 767 points. She finishes in 2:33.98, so should be good enough. The 700-point range is still pretty decent for Poppy Mascot. Should be in that final tonight.
So there we go, confirmation of the result of heat 4 of the women's 2am. Stoimanova wins it. Second was Cook, the international athlete. In lane number 3, Christina Schultz of Mount Kelly swam really well, 2:23.98, but won't be eligible to be considered to go through the finals because of that international status. I think it's a great idea to have the internationals in here. It certainly makes it much more of a competitive set of heats. Gives them a chance to come and swim with their local clubs, but then we make sure that there's an appropriate number of lanes available for the British athletes to be selected for those major meets summer. Heat 5 halfway through, 10 heats in total. Emily Maxwell of Northumberland and Durham performance in 4. In fact, I think she's scratched actually, Emily Maxwell, so there's nobody in lane number 4. So fastest seed then will be Grace Greenhalgh of City of Norwich. Grace in 5. Quite straight arm butterfly, breathing every 2s, which is good discipline down this first 50 metres of this 2 AM.
Yeah, she's had a great first 50 metres here. She's coming into the turn now. How's she going to do? 29.04. That's a very good swim from Collier there. Can't forget about lane 5, Greenhalgh. And at the end of the pool, lane 8, Hall. Very good swim there. There's, it does look like Maya Collier. She's got a very good backstroke here. She's pulling away from the field a little bit.
She really does, right at the bottom of that shot. She just needs to be careful not to bump the lane line. Really is right on that lane line. Look at that. Very close indeed, which is fine as long as you don't touch it, but it's like a cheese grater. It really attacks your shoulder and it hurts, so just be careful of that. Is first around the wall, 65.05. Fastest by 1.3 of a second from Hall in lane number 8. So 9 is Collier, 8 is Hall. And then right at the top there, Lacey Roberts. So it's lane 9, lane 8, lane 0. Not particularly easy to follow this, but Breaststroke is now taking over and the lead will change again.
Yeah, I tell you who's a clear breaststroke. It is Jasmine Hall. She's really giving Mia Collier a good run for her money here. I love a good race in the outside lanes, because sometimes people think, oh, I'm in the outside lane, I haven't got a chance of winning. And Andy, if you got a lane, you got a chance.
You said that a couple of times this week, and it's absolutely true. Don't stand on ceremony. There's some big guys that will be in these races, and somebody like Jacob Mills is going to be in the next lane as fastest seed ahead of Ben Proud, the Olympic silver medalist on the 50 free tonight. I bet he's not going to. He's just going to crack on, get in there. Sophie Brassington swam very well here. Had a decent first half, but breaststroke very strong indeed. And coming back again in lane 8 is Jasmine Hall. Slightly weaker breaststroke, but very good freestyle. In fact, sorry, strong breaststroke and a very good freestyle from Jasmine Hall in 8. And it looks like Hall gets the touch. Well, she does. 2:21.2. Second was Sophie Brassington up there in 3. And Grace Greenhalgh in 5 for City of Norwich. Jasmine Hall, well, came back very well on that second half, didn't she?
There, the camera is on Jasmine Hall from Basildon and Phoenix. Winning that, 2:21.24. Great swim. Sophie Brassington from Swansea in 2nd, and Grace Greenhalgh, City of Norwich in 3rd.
So it's heat 6. Cracking on through these. This is the women's 2 AM. And then we have the men's 800 metres freestyle, and I've got a couple of fabulous guests coming in for that. Certainly in the first couple of heats. Definitely worth staying to listen to that. Some really, really good insight into British swimming. Heat 6 of the women's 200 medley. Clementine Lovell of Mount Kelly goes in lane 4 as the fastest seed, with Amy Davis of University of Nottingham in 5. Louise Bresler of Bath in 3. Possibly the best start coming in 6 is Evie Mackey of Lanark. And well, it's pretty even down this first 50. A lot of swimmers working pretty well. Maybe it is actually in lane 5, Amy Davis, University of Nottingham, first to turn, I think it is. Yes, she does. 29.54, equal first with Gracie Owen in 7.
Yeah, and we've talked already this morning about these girls. You know, they have to master all 4 strokes, but some of them, well, probably all of them do have a preferred stroke. Mine was freestyle, so I'd have to save everything. I'd have to go as fast as I could on the fly back. Breaststroke, I just have to finish, and then I'd have to master the freestyle. But Andy, you were a fly swimmer. If you ever done medley, did you have to go out as fast as you could on the fly?
I controlled it as much as I could. I was quite lucky that we were talking about easy speed down earlier in the week, and I had easy speed on my fly. I was able to swim it without really using an awful lot of energy, and I had great speed, certainly to 50. And then I enjoyed it to 100. Probably my best distance would have been 150. 100 was almost a little short, and the 200 was definitely too long. But no, I was lucky. I was blessed with a little bit of easy speed. What about you? Did you get easy speed down the first 500? Did you have to work to get the easy speed?
The first 500 for me was all about just getting the rhythm right, But we are seeing Evie Mackey take it out quite quick on this breaststroke. You know, is this easy speed for her? We don't know, but she turns first at 150 with just a 50 freestyle to go on a 146.75. She's swimming great this morning. And just to clarify what easy speed is, it's as fast as you can go, as easy as you can go.
Well, she's looking very good. She's certainly going fast. I'm not sure how easy it is, but she's very effective. Evie Mackey of Lanark. And she's swum away. She's got about a 5-metre lead. This is really impressive. Evie Mackey, lifetime best 222.39. 222.39. She's gone 220.01. Very nearly went under 220. Super swim from her. Wow. Lane 6. Look at that. Well, good on you. She's taking her hats off, and she can't stop smiling. That's the response we need. Well done.
Yeah, that was a great swim from Evie Mackey. You know, she had her PB already at 222.39 this year. So the progression for her this year has been great. You know, to have another 2-second personal best in the same year is what you want. And she won this, Evie Mackey. 220.01. I'm sure she's going to be under that 220 tonight. Amy Davis second, and Phoebe Williams-Jones in third.
Well, Mackey is a junior, so she can qualify for that junior final. Was fourth in the 400 medley junior final. Having a great meet, she is. Another massive lifetime best there. And this is the last of the uncycle seeded heats in this women's 2 AM. Medley Collier, Repton in 4. Isabel Price in 5 for Birmingham. 6 is Anna Farr of Ellesmere College. Willow Harrison of Sheffield in 3, with Holly Waymond of Maxwell in 2. So the last of the uncycle seeded heats. Oh, and using a full 15 underwater there in lanes 4 and 5. That was interesting. Medley Collier and Isabel Price from Repton and from Birmingham. And it is the athlete in lane 4 right in the centre. Very high recovery. Using quite a lot of energy to lift those arms quite high. But it's an effective stroke, and she may well be leading. Possibly up there in lane 1 is Silano of Guildford. In fact, Freeman in 0 gets the touch from Silano, just by 14/100ths of a second. So Freeman in 0, Silano in 1, and Freeman's backstroke in 0, also very good.
Yeah, we saw Amelia Oliver take it out quite fast on the butterfly, sorry, but coming back really strong now is Anna Farr. She looks as if she's got the best backstroke in this heat. I wonder if the order is going to change on the breaststroke. That's the thing with medley. You could be leading at any point, but if the next stroke is your worst stroke, then you can drop from first to last quite easily. And these girls are all around the same time.
Well, halfway mark already gone in this heat 7 of the women's 200 medley. Going well. It is in lane 6, Anna Farr of Ellesmere College Swimming Academy, another one of these great high school programs there at Ellesmere College. And she's actually a fantastic breaststroker at the Summer Championships 17-year-olds last year. She won the 100 metres breaststroke, bronze on the 200, and using the breaststroke to good effect in lane 6. Really good from Medley Collier and 4 from Repton, though. And she is first to turn with 50 metres to go.
Yeah, I know Medley. She used to swim at Swansea Aquatics, and she's got a very good freestyle on her. So, you know, her recent move up to Repton, let's see what they're working on.
The whole The whole swim meet seems to have swum at Swansea Aquatics. It seems like. Do you know everyone? There's 1,000 swimmers here. Dan knows the lot. I'm not surprised. He's a lovely chap. Anyway, lane 4, Medley Collier, ex of Swansea, now of Repton. He's going to win this heat 7 of the women's 2am. 2:21.92 for her. Second was Willow Harrison. Third was Anna Farr. Oh. Well, I think that's just outside of her lifetime best. It was just a tenth or so. She's just kind of. Oh, it was a decent swim though. Medley's still a junior. 16 years old she is, so she can still really improve an awful lot. She's got a good chance of making that junior final. Collier wins it. Harrison second, Farr third, Freeman fourth. 2:21.92 on that one. We've had a 2:20 flat so far. Not sure we've had any 2:19s. This is heat 8, so nobody in lane 2. It's the first of the cycle seeded heats, and Leah Schlossen of Manchester Performance, the fastest seed. Scarlett Major's in there, Candice Hall. And lane 6 is also withdrawn, so there's nobody in lane 6. So 2 and 6 empty. This is the first of the cycle seeded heats in the women's 2am. Fastest seed is Leah Schlossen in 4. And Schlossen's 200 metres freestyle earlier this week was absolutely outstanding. Swam a super time, came second in the big final, and that relay, if you added up the times from all 4 women, was faster than the time that the British selectors set for that women's 4x2 to go to Singapore at the World Championships later this summer. So she has booked herself a ticket to Singapore. She's actually booked herself a ticket to Phuket for the training camp.
Lovely. I've been to Phuket. They are training at Tanyapura Sports Complex in Thailand, and I've been, and it is phenomenal. Andy, it's literally in the middle of the jungle.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's an amazing place. But we are seeing a withdrawal, obviously, as Andy just said, from lane 2 and lane 6. But we have already seen them this morning. So that was Theodora Taylor and Holly Williams. I think what they've done, they've both made it back to the women's 100 fly junior final tonight. And they're probably just prioritising that, which I don't think that's a bad idea.
No, it's not a bad idea. Candice Hall of Sheffield is first to turn at the halfway mark with Leah Schlossen of Manchester, the freestyle expert. And these two quite a way ahead of the rest of the field. They've got about 4 or 5 metres between the two of them. And now Schlossen starting to work hard in the black hat. See if she can catch up Candice Hall. And Hall, well, she is getting caught a little bit. And Schlossen in the black hat, her freestyle, very, very good. That silver medal was extraordinarily impressive on the first night.
Oh yeah, you know, she having a good swim on the first night really does set you up well for the rest of the week. And I feel a lot of it is that is obviously mental. And I feel like if you ride in the wave, if you get a good wave, it's a bit like a surfer. So if you catch that good wave at the beginning of the week, it kind of feels like you're right. I could just ride this wave and just take all these good swims into the future.
It gives you good momentum for the rest of the meet, doesn't it?
Good momentum. I've been told by Andy I need to say that word more.
I love it. I love it. I'm getting a proper Welsh language lesson here, and Welsh language and also Welsh accents. And Borodar I've learned so far. That's all I've learned, but I'm sure I'll get some more. Leah Schlossen here. This is heat 8 of 10 of the women's 2am. Comfortable. Looked very comfortable, 2:15. That was a lovely swim. Well, it is 4 seconds off a lifetime best. So it's a very easy heat, that one. Looks like she went out pretty comfortably and then worked the breaststroke leg. The big guys at these meets, the big swimmers, they seem to come and specifically look to learn something. And listening to Duncan Scott, goodness me, he's so clinical. It's very basic, very simple, but goodness me, he does the basics so well.
That's because he's probably doing the same thing every day in training. He's really nailing those drills now. Leah Schlossen, Manchester, winning that heat in 2:15. Candice Hall second, and Scarlett Major in third from Swansea University. I know Scarlett quite well, Andy. She's a good friend of mine.
Funny that. As opposed to every other athlete, it seems like.
No, it's because I know these athletes. They're very fresh, so I know them well.
Very fresh. Dan Fresh Jervis sitting next to me in the commentary box. he is straight out of the Olympic team, straight out of double Olympian. Speaking of Olympians, Katie Shanahan, Olympic finalist, 200 backstroke and 400 medley. This is the 2 IM.
Take your marks.
Shanahan already won gold on the 100 metres backstroke here and on the 200 metres backstroke, so she's on great form and qualified for that World Championship team. So the pressure is off and she can have some fun here. She's, strangely enough, decided not to do the 400 medley, which she was probably best at, and focused it on the backstroke events. And that focus really worked extremely well. See what she can do on the 2 IM here. Also going well in the red hat is Shola Robinson down this first 50 of City of Sheffield. The Sheffield athlete, first to turn, was she? Yes, she was. So it was Robinson in 3, Shanahan in 4, and possibly in 5 it was Amelia Smith. Well, it's a very, very good backstroke. But as expected, I suppose, in lane number 4, Katie Shanahan, gold on the 100 back, gold on the 200 back, and creating a decent lead here on this backstroke leg of the medley. Yeah,
we've seen a good backstroke from Katie from the University of Stirling, and she's got a teammate in this event, Susie McNair. I wonder if they train together, and if they do, it's probably why they're ahead. That's probably why they've both got good backstrokes.
Well, driving the breaststroke as well. Also going well in lane 7 is Susie McNair from University of Stirling. And McNair in the green hat closer to us, but there's the leader. Doesn't she look good on this breaststroke? She's got a cracking freestyle too, as Katie Shanahan, so this will be interesting. Also going well up there in lane 5 is Amelia Smith, or Emily Smith, I should say, of Royal Tunbridge Wells Monson. Still leading with 55 to go is Katie Shanahan of University of Stirling, and delighted to say that I'm joined by the winner of the previous heat, Leah Schlossen. She can watch Katie Shanahan come down this last 50. Well done on that heat, but also on that wonderful 200 freestyle that you did, Leah. That was fantastic to make the World Championship team.
Oh, thank you. I wasn't really expecting to come second, but I just wanted to come in the top 4, so I was actually really surprised myself. It was really good first swim of the meet. But yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Let me just see what Katie Shanahan does here. Well, you went 2:15 on that previous heat. She's gone 2:13.4 with Emily Smith 2:15.6. And those first two a decent way ahead of the rest of the field. But Leah, let's just go back quickly to that 200 freestyle, because it was something special. And in coming second, how quickly did you realise that the relay was actually going to be selected and you were going to be going to the World Championships?
Well, Frey did an amazing time with the 1:55. I think, hats off to her. We would have struggled to get the time if she didn't go that quick. So she was really, really good that night. And then I just remember I was breathing to the other girls in the last 50. I was like, oh, I'm in a good position here. Just kick your legs. And then when I saw second, I was like, wow, I'm really impressed with that.
And do you know, I mean, you didn't quite make the individual qualifying time for the 200 free for the Worlds, but I think you did the FINA A time.
Yeah.
And so I guess the selectors have an opportunity to choose you to do the individual as well. Have you thought about that yet, how that will go? I had a chat with Steve Tigg.
Yeah, Tiggy came up to me. He just said, congratulated me. He said, good swim. And then Ryan told me that I got the FINA A. Which I didn't even realise. I honestly wasn't even looking at the times. I just wanted to get that top 4.
Well, this is the final heat of the women's 200 medley. Abby Woods, the fastest seed, with Beatrice Varley in 3 and Phoebe Cooper in 5. Now, you've just done that heat of the 2 IM. You won your heat. It looked to me to be pretty comfortable. You went 2:15, a couple of seconds off your lifetime best. How did you approach that 2 IM in the heats this morning?
I tried to be as relaxed as possible, but I actually think 2 IM's a tough event. So you could go with 2:20, 2:11, and it kind of still feels all the same to me. It's just hard.
Tougher than 2-3?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, I definitely think it's way tougher than 2-3, yeah.
Really?
Just the changing of strokes, and, there's different muscle groups in each 50. I really enjoy both events, though. They're so different. 2 IM's just a massive sprint, but 2-3 there's a bit more, you have to, tactics and stuff, so...
Wow. Well, let's just keep you up to date on this. The fastest heat of the women's 200 IM. Abby Wood leading, the winner of that 400 medley, and she did the cut for the World Championships for that. Great swim that was. Phoebe Cooper chasing her as well. So Really good first half. Now Abby Wood's made the Olympic final on the breaststroke and is on that relay with you. She was the bronze medalist on that 200 metres freestyle. She'll be on the World Championship 4x2 free relay. How excited are you to be going to Singapore this summer?
Oh, I'm so excited. It was honestly my motivation. I was just like, I just really want to go to Singapore. Didn't feel much pressure anyway, so...
And I just heard this morning that the training camp is in Phuket.
That was also my motivation. Just a camp in Thailand. I was like, the sun, outdoor swimming, it would be lovely.
Yeah, certainly will. Well, listen, we should probably let you go because you probably need to go and swim down. But maybe just one last question. This final tonight, how are you going to go about swimming? And what sort of approach are you going to take tonight?
So I like to use my breaststroke on the IM. Abby, like Katie's got an amazing backstroke, so I know she'll be ahead. Kind of just playing catch up on that breaststroke, trying to level the girls and be anywhere in the top 3 would be really good for me. And obviously a PB would be great.
Well, certainly with a cracking freestyle as well.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can use that.
Well,
won't be too shattered.
Yeah, just stay with us a second if you don't mind, if that's okay, because we'll get the summary of the qualifiers in a second. 2:12.5, the fastest from that final heat. That is Abby Wood. She looked very good indeed, having won gold on the 4 IM, bronze on that 2 free. So she's going to be a teammate of yours going out to that World Championships. That's going to be so much fun, isn't it? It really is. A couple of weeks in Thailand and in Singapore. What a great summer you've got coming up. So the result of the final heat of the women's 200 medley. Abby Wood wins it from Phoebe Cooper second, Beatrice Varley third. 2:12.5 the fastest in, and then 2:16, 54 and 55. That's close. Let's hope that's not 8th and 9th. Wow, it isn't. That's good news. So Abby Wood goes in fastest with Shanahan second, and my co-commentator teammates here in the commentary box, Leah Schlossen, in third. So you'll have Abby Wood one side of you and Phoebe Cooper the other. Looking forward to that final?
Yeah, that'll be a really good final. I do like the 2 IM on a Saturday. You know, it's like day 5 of the meet, so people are really trying to, you know, see the end of the tunnel of the meet, and they just go for it. I really like this event.
Leah Schlossen, it's fantastic you have in the commentary box. You're a good talker.
Thank you. I do talk quite a lot, so...
Yeah, well, you're good at it. You're professional. We need to get you back in the commentary box again. Thank you so much. Good luck tonight. Super stuff. What a lovely lady she is. And what a meet she's had. Silver on the 200 freestyle. And third into that big final of the 200 medley. And that's some really good stuff. And a couple of weeks in Singapore and Phuket. Down Phuket. It can't be too bad for a training camp, can it?
It is lovely. Trust me, I think we went to Phuket in 2019, I think it was. And it was amazing. It was amazing.
Do you have to be careful of mozzers in the jungle if it's Phuket in the jungle?
Yeah, you get your vaccines before you go.
Oh.
The Aquatics GB makes sure they take care of that.
There's the qualifiers for the para final this evening. Faye Rogers, as expected, 882 points. She goes in as the best seed with Bethany Firth, Tony Shaw, all the way down there to Brooklyn Hale. Poppy Maskell just missing out on that final. 18 para athletes in that women's 200 medley. This can be another great final. The qualification times for those para athletes is so tough. Well, straight into the men's 800 metres freestyle. There's 5 heats in total. We'll be having 4 heats this morning. And then the 5th heat will be the final heat in the final session this evening. Just 3 swimmers in this first heat. In 3, it's Makar Yakno of Portsmouth North Sea. He's had a good meet so far. 10th on the 1500 metres freestyle. Timothy Leberry of Beckenham in 4, and Monty Smith of Wickham and District in 5. And I've got a couple of guests here on this 1500 metres free, excuse me, heats of the 800 free. Don't go anywhere. 1, to watch the racing, and 2, to listen to a couple of fascinating interviews just about come up. Well, I hope they are anyway. They're going to be live at this 800 metres freestyle, one of Dan's events, 8 and 15. Dan Jervis, double Olympian and Olympic finalist in the 1500 metres freestyle. Did you swim there? You didn't swim the 800 at the Olympics, I don't think.
No, I just concentrated on the 1500. But I did win the 800 British title 3 years. So, yeah, it is a hard event. It's very different to the 15. I mean, it's nearly half the event. But it is, you pace it very differently, which we will be talking about during these 800 heats.
Well, the first 100 metres here, so important to get the tactics right, get the pacing right, and up there in 3, it is Makar Yakno of Portsmouth North Sea, set off well, 28.5. And I did say I've got a couple of special guests, and it doesn't come any bigger and any better in British swimming than the Chief Executive Officer of Aquatics GB. It's Drew Barron. Drew, welcome to the commentary box.
Good morning, Andy. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. And more to the point, how are you?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, I'm a little tired. There's been a lot going on this week, but, you know, the energy that we're getting from the room and the buzz from the crowd has been fantastic. And, yeah, always things to change and move forward, but it's been a really good week.
Well, let's get straight into that, because I think one of the massive differences that I've noticed since you have been Chief Exec... How long have you been Chief Exec, by the way, now?
I think it'll be 2 years in May, so, yeah, so just coming round to the second year.
So the honeymoon period is definitely over.
100%. A difficult second album, I think they call this one.
Indeed. But you're talking about the atmosphere being very good here, and I think it's certainly one of the things that I've noticed significantly different since you've come in, is really the atmosphere at these major championship trials. Is that something that you've focused on to try and bring the atmosphere up?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've got an opportunity in this country. This sport is genuinely resonates with so many people, like the many millions in this country, and historically we've kind of only been able to deliver that in and around Olympic and Paralympic Games, to be perfectly honest. You know, we need to deliver that kind of connection to that fan base much more consistently. So it was really important that whilst we levelled up the event last year, that we actually do it every year, but it doesn't just become a thing which only happens once every 4 years, but actually we've got an annual meet here that really provides an opportunity for everybody loves swimming in this country, you know, to follow the sport, to get involved, and to really sort of unlock that passion. So it was really important to me that we didn't, you know, obviously Champs was very different last year. We need to maintain that level of coverage and all of the things that come with that, the TV coverage obviously that you guys are delivering, you know, all of the sort of social media activity, trying to just change the experience and make it better for everybody.
Well, certainly, going back to 100 years to when I was swimming, the difference between the atmosphere at the trials, which was flat, to the atmosphere at an Olympic Games, which was off the scale amazing. It was an assault on the senses when you went there, and something that, if you weren't used to it, it really was difficult to get used to. The difference now between these championships with the production that you put on and the team around you, and the Olympic Games, you know, Paris was fantastic, and I'm sure Los Angeles in that football arena is going to be off the scale brilliant. But the differential is so much less now. I've got to say, it must help the swimmers an awful lot.
I think this is the thing that is also obviously helpful. Listen, clearly we want to grow the profile of the sport, so putting on a show helps you to do that. But there is a performance advantage, as you say. You know, a big part of performing at Olympic or Paralympic Games is about your venue skills, about your ability to manage the pressure, to swim your fastest when there's a camera in your face and there's a huge crowd. And as you say, historically, the gap between what they've been experiencing on a regular basis to the Olympic experience has been huge. This narrows that gap. We learn a lot about the athletes in terms of, you know, can they handle the pressure when there's noise, when there's cameras, and can they deliver the best performance in that environment? And we've already seen it this week that, you know, some people find that more challenging than others, and other people just come out themselves. So it's a really good indicator for us about what people can actually do when you get to those major meets.
Well, it certainly is. Let me just give you an update, because that's the halfway mark of this first of 5 heats of the men's 800 metres freestyle. There's 4 this morning, and then the final heat will be this evening. And after this first heat, which just has 3 athletes in, we'll be filling the lanes. And I've got to tell you, it's been very close indeed between these two guys. Makar Yakno of Portsmouth, there was 1/100th of a second difference on 2 turns ago. Timothy Libery of Beckenham, they're in 3 and 4, and then Monty Smith just a tiny bit behind at the moment in lane number 5, but very close indeed. And let's see, well, look at that. There was 1/100th of that wall last time. It's 2 100ths this time. Nothing at all to split those two. But that's quite amazing, really is. Well, again, Drew Barron, Chief Executive of Aquatics GB. certainly in terms of swimming fans. I mean, well, first of all, the fans that you've got managed to get into these heats and the finals here. So many more spectators here, and I guess there's a final session tomorrow and then 2 more tomorrow. How are you managing to fill it? Because it's the difference again from what we used to have is massive.
And I have to say, you know, it's hats off to the team. You know, we've marketed the event really, really well. And we're also doing a lot more different things around it. So, you know, certainly leaning into the social media opportunity. You know, Dan's obviously doing various bits around that. You know, I think the opportunity that we had to use the profile of this event to build the profile of some of the other aquatic sports. We had a diving showcase last night, and it's just the buzz is getting out there, and that is basically going to people. Okay, actually the Aquatics GB Championships is a different experience, and actually I want to go, and it's not, you know, a kind of relatively staid, relatively sort of straightforward swim meets, which I think, you know, to be honest, in this country we've kind of delivered that as an experience. So I think gradually word's getting out there. That's helping us to fill the place, and obviously the more people in the building, the more noise we create, and the better the atmosphere. So it kind of all self-perpetuates, but I'm really happy with the volume of people that we've got in this week, because it would have been very easy to think that Olympic year last year, that's what prompted the spike, and we weren't able to deliver it consistently, but we have been, so it proves it.
It is a big pool to fill this as well, isn't it? There's a couple of thousand seats here, and we've already had we had the wings taken off from London 2012 Olympics. So how many would you say? Probably 4,000 seats in here already?
Yeah, so I think basically across the week, I think we were in a world of last year we sold 12,000 tickets. We're going to be around about the same mark again across the week, which is basically filling the place. I think there's still opportunity to go again. You can kind of look a bit further down some of the stands and think we can do that, but fundamentally it shows that this is an annual experience, not a once every 4 years experience, and that's the real trick for me.
Oh, it's been fantastic, and certainly following the socials as well, the number of hits, some of those videos that you guys have put together for trailing the shows have been fantastic. There isn't an awful lot long left in this 800 metres freestyle. This is a 700 turn. I do want to ask you about the social impact that you've been focusing on as well, though, Drew, because you put a lot of effort into that to make sure that that's significantly improved as well, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Just very, very quickly, we have to use the profile of our athletes and the profile of these major events to help to grow participation in this country. We have an issue around school swimming at the moment where, you know, certainly from poorer, underdeveloped communities, you know, there's a lot of kids who are coming out of primary school unable to swim 25 metres. You know, that's not good enough.
That's shocking, isn't it?
So it's really important that we use the opportunity that we've got here, and we've seen a couple of things. We're running a social impact programme across this week where lots of kids who wouldn't necessarily get access to pool time have got it. And then clearly last night we launched our new winner swimmer competition, which is where the opportunity obviously for a school to win an appearance from one of our athletes. So we have to use the profile to basically tackle some of these issues that are at a more grassroots level.
And how does a club, very quickly, how does a club win a swimmer?
Very, very, very simple. You go on the Aquatics GB website, enter the name of the competition, you know, put in the school that you want to nominate, and it all goes into a big hat, and we pick the winner.
Fantastic. Well, that is the chief exec of Aquatics GB. It's Drew Barrand. I just call the finish here of this race. He was very, very even with the swimmer in lane number 4, but Makar Yakno of Portsmouth North Sea finished really well. That time of 8:30.51. He wins the first heat of this men's 800 freestyle. 4 heats this morning, 1 this evening. Timothy LeBurley, second from Beckenham. He swam very, very well. What did he go? 8:35 and then 8:42 from Monty Smith. So lifetime best for those first 2 finishers. And there's confirmation of the result. Well, 2 international swimmers. Again, I really like the idea of getting these internationals in the morning heats, but we do need as many lanes available to British swimmers for those 6 meets that the selectors have got to choose. A huge number of swimmers from Great Britain to go to those major internationals, the World Championships and the Paris. But Drew, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate your time and your insights into how the British swimming is going. I could talk to you for hours. Hopefully you'll come back maybe tomorrow and have another chat.
Yeah, I'm ready and available whenever you need me, Andy, as you well know.
That'll be super. Thank you so much. Chief Exec of British Swimming, Aquatics GB. That is Drew Barrand. Thanks, Drew. Very good. So that was heat 1 of 4 heats this morning on the men's 800 metres freestyle. There's another City of Liverpool swimmer. The City of Liverpool distance programme is really special. Is there anybody out there from City of Liverpool? Give us a call, because I'd love to know a little bit more about it. Dan, do you know much about that programme?
No, actually I don't, but they obviously have a very good distance group there.
Some programme you do know about, though.
So, big up Swansea University. I'll shout about them all day.
There's another one of my old swim teams there, Mount Kelly. Morgan Davis goes in lane number 2. 8 lanes being used for this heat 2. 7 of them are juniors. And the fastest seed is in lane number 4 from the City of Liverpool, and they've had a cracking meet so far. George Daintiff of the City of Liverpool, and the red hat right in the centre is the fastest seed, and saw 8:30 in that first heat of the 800 freestyle. And Dan, what are you looking for here in this heat, the second heat of the 800 free?
Well, there's 8 swimmers in this heat, and so, well, they're going to use each other. You know, we used to have a saying back in Swansea, use each other to push each other. And I'm hoping for that. We had a great start there from Lucas Staines, who he took out from Swansea University. He took it out to the 15. He used the full underwater of that first 15. But if you do go past 15, that is automatic disqualification. It is quite easy to do that. We've seen it in the past. We've seen it at an Olympic Games before. And you don't want to be swimming this far and then find out at the end that you got disqualified.
Well, you certainly don't. And coming into the 100 metres turn, nice comfortably down that first 100. Up in there, lane number 2, Morgan Davies of Mount Kelly leading from lane 7. That's Jack Bamborough of City of Cardiff. Well, we've had the chief exec of Aquatics GB talk to us a little bit about this social impact that Aquatics GB has been focusing on. It's been brilliant, but also how much the show has improved. Certainly when you come to these championships, it's fantastic fun to come and watch. There's tickets available. So if you want to come down and watch this evening's finals, tomorrow night's finals, or tomorrow morning's heats, it's great to see. But there's been quite a lot of change in the personnel. Some of the seats moved around a bit, and delighted to say another great guest I've got now in the commentary box is Ewan Dale, Performance Pathway Lead for Aquatics GB. Performance Pathway Lead. Welcome to the commentary box, Ewan.
Absolute honour to be here, Andy. Thank you very much.
It's cool. I'll tell you what, I sat with you this morning. We had a good old chat, and it was really fun. But Performance Pathway Lead Aquatics GB, it's a bit of a mouthful. What does it actually entail? What is the job?
Great question. And I've been in the role now for a couple of weeks, and it's a really exciting time, you know, getting to work with the kids on the world-class programme, supporting Steve and his direction as the new head coach, and trying to build talent, you know, trying to build talent to be successful on the senior stage and ultimately win medals.
Well, you've been on the pool side for quite a long time. Now you're in this, I guess, it's more, would you describe it as an administrative role, or a mentoring role, or a leading role? What kind of role is it?
Yes, I mean, there is an element of administration to it, for sure, but it's a very visible role. You're going around the country, liaising with the coaches, liaising with the athletes, and making sure that they're steering in the right direction to maximise their performances. So it's a bit of both. It's a bit of admin, making sure we've got structures and processes and opportunities in place, but then it's being really present in and around their club environments or national centre environments to ensure that they're doing what's needed to be successful and fulfill their potential. You know, it's a really, really exciting journey, the sport of swimming, as you well know, and standing on the international stage and trying to deliver your best performances is what it's all about. And look at some of these performances here. Morgan Davis is flying through the ranks here.
Well, he certainly is, and Dan Jervis is going to give us an update in a second on his race so far. But just in terms of your role again, you're going to be looking after that European junior team this summer, and I think we had 20, something like 20 qualifiers so far. 23, was it?
23 amazing young individuals have achieved the consideration time already, and we'll be in the European Junior Championships at the start of July, and then from there we'll look to get to the World Junior Championships that will be in Romania in August. So what an exciting summer for those excellent young juniors.
Exciting for them, and I guess exciting for you. We'll just come to that in a second, because Dan's going to give us a quick update. That's the halfway mark in this second heat of the 800 free.
Yeah, strongly leading this is Morgan Davis from Mount Kelly Swimming. You know, he had a very fast 300 in this 800. He went out in a 3:03.92, but by 3:50 he was at 3:35. So that 50 there was a 32.00. So that was quite a hard 50. He probably dropped back a little bit. If he wants to stay on this good time now, he's probably going to have to maybe pick up his legs a bit, maybe turn up the rhythm a little bit now. But also coming second is Jack Bambra from Cardiff, 4:45.
Well, indeed, it's hotting up. He's quite a long way ahead, isn't he, up there in lane number 2, Morgan Davis. But just coming back to Ewendale, performance pathway lead for Aquatics GB. And I've noticed you said you got 23 young superstars achieved the consideration time so far for the European Junior Championships. I think the maximum team size is 30, am I right in saying?
100% correct, yes. We've got a team size, max team size of 30, and those 23 individuals have achieved the qualification time, so it should be a really exciting opportunity as they progress through to the summer.
So I've got a little bit of a technical challenging question for you then. So after 4 nights, 23 swimmers are qualified. Every chance that we may end up with more than 30 people doing the consideration time, how on earth are you going to pick from those swimmers to actually select the final lucky 30 to go out to Slovakia for that European Juniors?
Yeah, good question. The reality is that you get quite a lot of repeat performers. So we're 4 days into the meet now with 2 days to go, and I'm not so sure that there'll be a huge amount of additional people on the team, because it might just be that some of those individuals that have achieved the time already may get it in another event. So it might be, for example, if you take Max Morgan or Philip Nowacki on the breaststroke, they're most likely going to get that time tonight on the 200 breaststroke, but they're already there for the 100. So I'm not sure we'll get a huge amount of additional consideration times in the last 2 days, but I'm hopeful, because that last day of racing, there's some cracking events on that day.
There certainly is, not least of which that men's 200 metres freestyle, which everyone is looking forward to, I know. And in your role, so I guess your role, one of your roles is to work with the coaches and swimmers to make sure that we're delivering the juniors and then getting them ready to become seniors. How are you going to go about doing that? I mean, do you mentor the coaches? Do you work with the coaches? I mean, there's all sorts of new stuff going on, like the introduction of the 50 fly back and breast at the Olympic Games. How are you going to go about working with those coaches and swimmers?
And what a coaching community we have. Dedicated individuals, passionate about the sport, and it's really exciting to get, in my new role, to get out and about and see that. But I'm really passionate about that transitional piece. You know, how can we make sure that we're adding value as they go through the journey? We're not going too hard too soon. We're allowing for that organic growth within the athlete, and then we're adding those final bits on as they go through to smooth that transitional process.
And sorry, I interrupted. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think sometimes because swimming's such a tangible sport, you can maybe get down the rabbit hole of pushing too hard a little bit early doors, and how can we just be a little bit more considered in our development processes and allow that maturation and growth to happen, and then add the real juice as they go down the line. So it's a really exciting project.
Oh, fantastic. Well, hopefully you can stay with us for another heat if that's possible.
I would love to.
That's fantastic. Well, Dan Jervis, give us an update on this heat.
Yeah, this has been a fantastic heat swim for Morgan Davis this morning, you know, but we have seen a really good fight between George in lane 4 and Max in lane 8, and watching Max the whole time, and actually overtaking him a little bit now on this last length has been Jack Bambra, but Morgan Davis wins it in an 8:23.61. Great swim from him at 17 years of age. Second, George Daintith from City of Liverpool. Great swimming programme up there as well. And joint third, you don't see that often at 800, is Jack Bambra and Max Harvey. What a great last 25 from Jack, but a great 5 from Max, to have a joint time. Very rarely you see a joint third or 2 times exactly the same over distance events, and you see it quite often during sprints. You don't often see it during distance.
Indeed. In actual fact, at the start of the week we were talking about exactly that, weren't we, saying we don't see it. But we've certainly seen it there from Jack Bamborough, tied with Max Harvey, the City of Cardiff swimmer from the City of Liverpool swimmer, exactly the same time, 2:31.03. So there's the results, Dan.
Yeah, results are Morgan Davis winning that 8:23.61 from Mount Kelly. George Daintith from City of Liverpool second, and Jack Bamborough from Cardiff in third.
So that was Heat 2. Heat 3 of 5 in this men's 800 metres freestyle. Well, there's only 4 this morning, so this is Heat 3 of 4 this morning, and then the fastest heat will be in that final session. And interestingly, for that last heat in the final session, in the final sessions normally you only use 8 lanes for the final, but because it'll be a final heat, we'll be using 10 lanes tonight. This is Heat 3. 3 of 4 this morning. Coda Verde of Stockport Metro, the fastest seed in 4. So Coda Verde in 4, the fastest seed, Dan?
Yeah, I have swum with Daniel Codaverde in Stockport over the last year of my career. I've done quite a few training sessions up there. I got family up there, I got friends up there, and so when I go up to the Stockport area, you can't just stop training when you go away from your home program. And I used to swim with Stockport Metro, so I know Daniel. He's a very good trainer.
I was just going to say, how does he train?
He trains good. Which you can't not train good. You can't be a distance swimmer and be easy training. You've got to turn up at the right time. You've got to have a good pre-pool. You've got to have a good post-pool, because these distance swimming, you're doing thousands upon thousands of reps with those shoulders every day. And if you're not properly prepared to do that, then you're going to have issues with your shoulders, and you don't want that going into a distance race.
You certainly don't. And down this first 100, well, look at this up there. Is Joshua Keogh of Bolton Metro up in 1. Started very quickly. And we'll keep an eye out. Dan will make sure that he keeps on updating you during this Heat 3 of the men's 800 metres freestyle. But again, joined by Ewan Dale, Performance Pathway lead for Aquatics GB. Just started the role 2 weeks into it. So it's probably a little bit early to say how you're finding it. I suppose you're just getting your feet under the desk and seeing how it is. But a couple of questions around the interaction and what you're expecting to do and how you're expecting to interact with the coaches, and maybe what you're expecting from them, what you think they might be expecting from you as you work on this wonderful role.
Of course, yes. So when individuals get onto the world-class program through Aquatics GB, then myself and Nathan Hilton will visit clubs and see what the environment's like, connect with the coaches, help with any physiological steering principles that they might need, or any help or support that they might need for their athletes in order to ensure effective development. And then the really important piece and the exciting piece is working with the wonderful home nations, England, Scotland, Wales, and ensuring that we do as much as we can to help support the development of those coaches to ensure that the athletes are getting what they need to maximise their output. So it'll be a lot of travel, a lot of visiting clubs and connecting with the coaches and seeing if they need any support or help. And, you know, as I said before, the coaching community is so rich and so strong and so passionate about the sport. It's how we can get in and around that environment and ensure that everyone's on the same page around how to progress performance. And then we've got the wonderful national centres as well, in terms of, you know, the ones in Loughborough, Manchester, Bath and Stirling. So a lot of the world-class programme athletes will be in there, and it'll be connecting with them to provide as much support as possible as well. So it's a pretty vast role, but wow, it's going to be exciting as we go on this journey to LA.
Ewan Dale, that is very, very exciting indeed. And can I just say, it sounds pretty straightforward and simple, but what a wonderful idea to be sharing best practice among coaches. Yeah, do you ever find, you know, somebody stumbles across somebody and they go, well, I'm going to keep that so my club gets better than the other club?
I think the more coaches share, the more we grow as a community. And coaching is a wonderful gift, and to inspire athletes and swimmers to enhance and fulfill their performance potential, but also fulfill themselves as a person. And the more that we can share best practice, the more that we can connect, and the more that we can understand that we're in this game of promoting swimming in wonderful events like this, then it's only going to enrich the it's only going to enrich the development of the athletes, but the way that they feel about the sport and enjoy it. You know, we're in the game of whole person development here, aren't we?
Indeed we are. Well, Dan, just give us an update. This is the halfway mark.
Yeah, and the guys are swimming quite close together now. We've seen Daniel Caverdi start off at the 200 mark. He was in second, but he's retaining first place in this heat so far. He did just drop to second now, and we did just see Daniel Cox take first position at the 400-meter mark. But we've just seen from the 400-meter mark, sorry, in lane 7, Daniel Cox has made a little bit of a move. That's quite an interesting tactic. He's still got 350 meters to go. Has he gone a bit too early? I don't know. Maybe this is what he practices in training, but he's looking really strong. His length in his stroke is really long, and the aim in a distance event is to make yourself look 9 foot long. The longer you are in the water, the more water you can catch, the more water you can grab to propel yourself through the water more.
Dan, you are one of the longest swimmers I've seen, and watching you compete on the international stage was phenomenal. What did it look like on a daily basis? How did you make sure that that stroke length was where it needed to be?
Well, my coach Adam Baker down in Swansea just give me drills. I practice my drills, the ones that focused on the catch of the stroke a lot. And there's thousands of drills you can do in freestyle. There's thousands of drills you can do in all the strokes. But something that Adam kept telling me was, it's better to do 4 drills 1,000 times rather than 1,000 drills 4 times. Focus on a specific part of the stroke, and in freestyle the most important part of the stroke is the catch at the front.
100%. It's that wonderful balance between stroke length and stroke rate, and Daniel Cox here has got a lovely stroke length and reminds me of the Dan Jervis growing up.
All right, that's enough of the loving. Can I, just while you're here, because I want to maximise the opportunities, it's fascinating you. And
do you enjoy the 800, Andy? Was that one of your favourite?
800, they didn't have a sat-nav at the time that I was swimming, so I decided that 2 legs and get out and have a shower and a cup of tea was a good idea for me. But we're just watching very carefully here, because this is the 600-metre mark, 4 legs left in this, the third of 4 heats this morning of the men's 800 metres freestyle. No more questions like that, please, you and Dale. But I tell you what, we were having a chat, Dan and I, earlier on this week, and we were talking about when you're a junior, and you're obviously focusing on the junior end of Aquatics GB and then trying to make sure that they are delivered into that senior programme all ready to go. When you're a junior, a lot of the time, and we were talking about, you know, Dan was a bit of a backstroker and I was a bit of a backstroker, maybe a bit of a freestyler, and then it changes. So when you're a senior guy or girl, you often have a very different event, and your best event that you're going to have in your life is not necessarily the one that you're best at as a junior. How do you go about trying to make sure that swimmers can identify that at the right phase and make sure that when they do become seniors, they are the best they can possibly be?
Variety is the spice of life. You know, you want to keep as many events on your radar as possible for as long as possible. Of course, when you're looking for that all-important transition, you want to make sure the specialisation is there. But my view on development is, much like a lot of the evidence that's coming out now, the more variety and versatility you can have, the more sustainability you've got in your career long-term. So you look at an example like Duncan Scott, touching on the 200 fly this week. You know, that's a fantastic motivational tool for him as he goes into his 4th or 5th Olympic cycle. You know, it's really, really important part of the process, making sure that medley and multi-stroke swimming, multi-event swimming is at the forefront of people's thinking.
Indeed, indeed.
Yeah, after the 400 mark, you did see Daniel Cox have a little bit of a push on, and we saw Jack Booth-Rudd really take notice of that push on, actually, and really take this last 100 definitely to take the win. Is he going to take it? It's going to be close. And oh yes, he does. That is 2 100s between first and second, as we were talking about earlier. What they've done there is a prime example of using each other to push each other. That was a great race between them two, especially in the second half. Paced it really well.
That was so cool. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Get your guns out, my friend. Look at that.
Great to see that.
He could be a Bond villain, you know, that guy, couldn't he? That's a cracking face. I love that. Wow. Well, what a great race. What a great race. So Jack Boothrudd wins Heat 3 of the men's 800 metres freestyle. Dan Cox just 2 100ths behind from University of Birmingham, with Adam McCordy-Wright coming in third. There's the official result.
Yeah, winning that was Jack Boothrudd, second Daniel Cox, and third Adam McCauley-Wright. Very close between first and second, 2 100ths in it. And now we go on to the final heat this morning, but there will be the fastest heat tonight. There's 5 heats overall, but we're having 4 this morning. Going in first is James Froggatt from the city of Birmingham. And in lane 4, James Froggatt from the city of Birmingham. He's had a good week already. He came 6th in the 400 freestyle B final. He came 6th in the 400 IM. How's he going to do in this 800 freestyle? They're very different events. They paced very differently, the 400 and the 800 and the 1500, obviously. But let's see how he's trained it.
We talk about different pacing for the 4, the 8 and the 15. How is it different? I mean, from somebody who never really did any of those, it just looks like it's a long way to me. But do you actually have to approach them very differently? I know they're different. I mean, 4 and 8 and 15, clearly. One is double and then almost the net double again. But how differently do you approach those races?
Well, 400 is all about... I mean, they're all about pacing. But 400, you have to kind of go out quite quick, because if you pace it too slow and you go out too slow in the first 100, then there's not enough time. If the people in your race with you have gone out quite quick, there's not enough time to catch them up. Whereas within a 15, well, and in the 400, you need to make sure you have a good dive and all that. But in the 1500, you don't necessarily have to focus on things like the dive. I mean, you want a good dive, but when you look at my dive in the 1500, I basically fell in, you know, and obviously it is better to have a good dive because you want a good start, but you have got a lot of time in the 1500 to kind of catch up. But one thing that you do need to focus on more in the distance races is the turns. Now, we spoke about this yesterday, watching the women's the other day watching the women's 1500, but in a 15, there's 29 turns. If you do something wrong every turn, let's say you add half a second every turn, it doesn't sound like a lot, but that time does add up. So you finish the race adding 14.5 seconds onto your overall time. But looking at the positives of that, you can also shave half a second off every turn. If you nail it right, you can take 14.5 seconds off a PB.
Yeah, so important to get those technical elements right. And watching somebody like Abby Wood swim in the International Swimming League, my word, she took on the world and did brilliantly there. And a lot of that, obviously she's a great swimmer, but really good on the technical stuff. And we've had some fantastic races in the medleys. Actually, Ewan, I know that you're a 400 medley swimmer. Do you have a favourite race to watch? And do you like a specific stroke? I mean, obviously, I love the 100 flyer. I was a 100 flyer. Dan loves his 1500 freestyle, thank goodness. Do you have a preferred event?
I do love the individual medleys.
Do you?
Because it can chop, it can change, it comes down to skills and versatility across all the 4 strokes. And when you look at people like Michael Phelps and Leon Marchand and Duncan Scott, you're just, the purity of the swimmer within them is excellent, you know, in terms of being able to swim technically well across all 4 strokes, really strong around the walls. You can't afford to have a weakness if you're a medley swimmer. So that always sits like a nice event to watch for me. So I'm really looking forward to that 200 IM tonight.
Indeed, and talking about all the 4 strokes, here's a fascinating for one in your new role. I'm really interested to hear how the head of the performance pathway certainly for the youngsters and getting them up there into the Olympics is going to deal with this. 50 metres butterfly, 50 metres backstroke and 50 metres breaststroke will be in the Olympics in Los Angeles. It's been at the World Championships 25 years. How are you going to start considering preparing athletes for that? Will it be different to what happens at the moment? Is there going to be any changes at all?
What is really exciting about that is the amount of opportunity that it creates. I think when you look at physiological principles, you've got events now that are going to last 25 seconds across all 4 strokes, all the way up to the 200-metre discipline. So it allows for coaches to really refine their training models based on the genetic need of the athlete or the physiology of the athlete. So it's an exciting principle. And then when you layer that down the pathway in terms of to the grassroots of the sport, it's only going to add interest. But it's making sure that you're doing what's right for the athlete, making sure you're keeping as many events open as possible. And in terms of LA and the 50-metre events, it's only going to generate more interest. And we've got some really fast youngsters coming through. So it'll be exciting to see how they develop over the next 3-4 years.
Well, it is very interesting to listen to you talking here, Dale. Let's just give you an update coming into this 500 metres turn, because this is heat 4. It's the last of the heats this morning, and then there's the final heat in the evening session here. Dan, how's it going at the moment?
Well, it's going really well for James Froggatt in lane 4 from City of Birmingham. At the 400 mark, he was at 4:02.24. That is rapid. He has just done a 1:02 for that 100 now, going into the 500 mark. But he's looking great. He's looking really good. I think what he wants to do, you know, he probably would have wanted to be in that fastest heat tonight. And so what he's trying to do now, he's really pushing on ahead, maybe to show everyone back home, I should have been in that, you know. And he's really putting on a stamp this morning. He's swimming great. I hope he hasn't gone out too quick. You know, at the end of this 100, he's got 200 left. So the way we trained in Swansea was to push that last 200 so you can max the last 50. But if he's going to speed up from this, well, he's going to be one to watch in the future. He's looking great.
Well, Ethan Kelly from City of Liverpool also having a good swim here. And right at the top there, Aidan Turner of Newcastle swim team. This is the 600 metres turn, so just 4 lengths left at this turn. And Ewan, maybe just one more question, if you don't mind, just associated with that, the 50s, because I'm guessing that the style of training is going to change quite significantly. And I know some swimmers are actually a little bit worried about the fact that the 50s are coming, which is fascinating. I think historically some people think, 53, you don't really need to train too hard for it. You can sort of fake it. If you get lucky, you might do well. But I get the feeling that there's going to be a seismic change in the way that people are going to start looking at the 50s training.
Yes, and I think that's interesting comment there, that it's easy to train for the 50s, because my experience, when you look at those fantastic 50-metre athletes at the top of the game like Ben Proud, the discipline that they need in all areas of their development is astounding. You know, they'll be really considered in the way that they're fueling the body, the way that they're moving, the way that they're training, and it'll just be specific to what they need. And to those swimmers that are worried about what it might look like in terms of training, my comment would be, do what's right for your needs. You know, not everybody can be a 50-metre swimmer, but if you know what you need, you can maximise your output.
Indeed, and I guess strength will be a key element of those 50s coming in. But the balance for a junior, just really quickly, balance for a junior, when do you start doing that strength training? Because if you do it too early, I guess it can hurt. You've got to get the balance right there.
Movement is fundamental. Strength is only good if it can be applied in the water. So if you're not able to move in a way that's needed aquatically in the water, then the strength that you might have added might not be functional. So it's being really, really considered in that. But look at this final 50 here.
Well, thank you, Ewan Dale, performance pathway lead for Aquatics GB. Fascinating talking to you. Dan, just call this final 25 for us, will you?
I think it's quite clear who's going to win this. James Froggatt, he has had a fantastic swim. That pace in that last but 150 there was 30.47, so he really has paced it so he can speed up at the end. That last 50 was a 29.13, 8:08. What an amazing swim, a 9-second personal best. Ethan Kelly, 8:14, another season's best. We're having some good season's bests today. Good personal bests today, sorry. And Aidan Turner, lane 0 from Newcastle swim team, 8:22, another great swim. But I just have to pick up how good that was from James Froggatt. You know, he really did. He wants to show he should have been in that fastest heat tonight. What a swim.
9-second lifetime best for the winner of that. The last heat of this morning's session. It's heat 4. Heat 4 of 4 this morning. There will be that final heat this evening. He looks reasonably fresh, I've got to say. He's puffing a bit. How can you stick your lips round the side? You just did a 9-second lifetime best, my friend. That was outstanding. Very good indeed from James Froggatt. Ethan Kelly, great as well in second. Third was Aidan Turner. So the guys tonight, 8:08 is the target for them. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and tonight they will have the added bonus. There will be a very good atmosphere tonight. You know, we are seeing that here in London Aquatics Centre. But to win it was James Froggatt, City of Birmingham, 8:08, a fantastic 9-second PB. Ethan Kelly, City of Liverpool, great training centre up there, great distance training centre up there. And then in third, Aidan Turner, Newcastle.
Well, thank you for that summary, Dan, and that's the end of this morning. And thank you to you and Dale, Performance Pathway Lead for Swimming. You've got a cracking job, a big job this summer to get those juniors to the meet and then make sure that they do well. Not only at the European Juniors, but there's a World Juniors as well there, are you, Ewan?
World Juniors and an Under-23 Championships. So lots of opportunity outside of the World Championship team this summer, and I cannot wait to get started. And thank you for having me in the commentary booth today.
Well, just 1 week into your job. Thanks so much for joining us. That's I'm not sure if it's brave or what, but clearly right on top of what you've got to do as the Pathway Performance Lead for Aquatics GB. Thanks for joining us. Good luck this summer, and can't wait to see those juniors, one delivering on the international stage and also getting ready for LA 2028.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Well, that's the end of the 5th morning of heats here at the Aquatics GB 2025 Championships. Join us again at 6 o'clock this evening for the B finals. The B final session will start at 6 o'clock, and then 6:45 will be that pre-game show for the first of the big finals at 7 o'clock. And of course we got the para finals there, we got the A finals, and we got the junior finals. So that's going to be quite a session. So join us at 6 for the B finals, and then 6:45 the pre-game show starts. But from me, Andy Jameson, thanks very much for this morning.
And from me, Daniel Jervis, thank you.
See you at 6.
Bye-bye.